It has been 6, 7 weeks of rather incredible action, and it doesn't end completely here, but this is our fun week, this is our break week, and this is the week where we see potentially one of the, if not the most anticipated match the BESL Season 3 has to offer. Welcome to Week 7, the week that doesn't matter, they say. The week where pride is on the line, I say. The land places, they're all sorted. We have our top 4, which means that there is everything to play for in regards to creating upsets or creating history itself. I'm Iraleak, joined by the brilliant Baltic man that he is, Jar of Jam, and we've seen some brilliant Baltic business going on, Jam, over the last 6 weeks. So many great matches, more sweeps than you can count, some of them expected, some of them not so, and we round off our 7 weeks of action with this week, which is, I am billing the week of Weite and the Professional Ball Chasers. Both of those teams playing twice each this week. And it all ends in that final match, series number 4 today. So if you're joining now, you want to watch the entire stream, because that series number 4 is what we hope will be the top 2 unbeaten going up against each other. Winner takes all.
Yeah, and those are the 2 teams that we're expecting to butt heads in the finals over at LAN that will be happening in just 2 weeks. It's almost impossible how time flies. It seems like just a week ago, well, maybe a couple of weeks ago, we have started the season, opened up the whole thing with Mind Games versus Dram Ranch, and then it just kept on going and going and going. And to end the season with a bang, with the Professional Ball Chasers match versus the Weite, it's something else altogether. But before we get to that, we do have Ram Ranch playing against Weite, Professional Ball Chasers squaring against Mind Games eSports, Scavenge eSports, we haven't seen them in a while, will be playing against the Post Game Strong, and of course the big one, the Professional Ball Chasers versus Weite. And just quickly going to the very first game of the day, so it will be indeed Ram Ranch versus Weite. Really, last week is something the Ram Ranch would like to forget. Their 0-3 defeat against Ball Chasers marked the single largest amount of goals scored against one team in the game. 11-2 was the scoreline in favor of Ball Chasers, 11 goals conceded by Ram Ranch. And today they're against the second strongest team in the league, just no rest for a wicket. That is Ram Ranch.
No, absolutely not, of course. It was a week of goals, wasn't it? And although Professional Ball Chasers now hold the record for the most amount of goals scored by one team in one game, there's this rivalry now going with Weite, because Weite have scored the most goals scored by one team over a series. It was crazy. Go back and watch it. Some of the plays were absolutely RLRS level at the very least. And I would honestly say most weeks, Jam, that it can't get any worse for Ram Ranch. But it can. It really can. And I guess they're thankful that they've got their full lineup today. They've got Akfus, they've got Grumpy, they've got Refgate all in, ready to go. But I do fear that they might have downed tools. I hope that's not the case. I hope they see an opportunity, because as much as we're billing this final series between Weite and Professional Ball Chasers to be who will go throughout the entire season unbeaten, there are banana peels here for both teams. And Ram Ranch, we've seen them go fast out the blocks sometimes. They've just lacked in staying power. Is this the week, after 6 weeks of competition, where finally they can go the distance?
No. Sorry, I'm very
Fair
sorry,
enough.
Ram Ranch.
Okay.
It's a dagger straight into your back, but despite Ram Ranch really picking up the pace, it was a little bit too late for them, and their schedule just didn't really give them any real opportunity to recover. They had to win against both the Ball Chasers and then Weite, and then the team that they played previously as well. So from some point on, it was just all straight sweeps. They won against their Week 5 game against Post Game Strong, and that gave them hope. But then knowing who they had to play in the remaining weeks, it was just a little bit too much for them. But still, I agree with the R-League. This is the chance for them to really show, without pressure, really, the only pressure they have on them is a little bit of pride to see which one of the bottom 3 teams will finish where. Ramranch are currently at the top of that bunch between themselves, Mind Games eSports, and Post Game Strong, by virtue of winning 4 games and losing 15. So that puts him at very top with only minus 11 games lost. So, I mean, they can it can still change because Ramranch, Mind Games eSports, and Post Game Strong are all playing today. Post Game Strong in their matchup later on against Scavenge eSports, Mind Games eSports versus the Professional Ball Chasers, the second game of the day. So there might be losses everywhere, but there also might be some little things here and there. For example, the team that currently will be right now will be on your screens. They have lost 1 single game, but through that they're currently second, despite having the same amount of series wins, 5-0, as the Professional Ball Chasers have. Wyatt dropped 1 game, and that sort of puts them in the second place. Ramranch have a possibility to taking perhaps 1. Really, try everything that's right now working on the field. Worst case scenario, you will lose and you will still be at the bottom of the bracket. Best case scenario, everyone, including us, will be all of a sudden surprised, just like we were surprised during the week. Number 2 Post Game Strong win against Mind Games eSports. That was the biggest shocker, the first game of the day, and already a big surprise. So I do not believe that the Ramranch will win against Wyatt, but there might be a possibility for some great Rocket League, some surprises. So why not go with that, R-League? I do believe we're starting our very first best of 5 day.
Absolutely. It's going to be Ramranch in the blue, and you may see Azarko there in the orange, along with Wyatt. Fear not, that is Spring, so I am reliably informed. And so we're going to go with Spring, despite what you might be seeing on your screens. And so far, I'm pretty sure that Wyatt will be pretty happy to make it through the first 30 seconds without scoring a goal, because goodness knows that's what happened to them every single time in their last series last week. So I'd say a good start, considering everything for them. And Akfus is going to throw this one into the orange half. Chuvas with a miss, been fit by straight out to Refge, who's going to put this one into the corner. Spring will take it down from there, and Grumpy will put it high. Chuvas meets it and throws it off to the side. The ball falls down a little awkwardly for everyone, though. Bounces about. It comes into the hands of Refke. Big save from Spring, and Minfipai only finds Akfus. It goes straight back into the centre, but no one's there to follow it up. Akfus hits the post. Another great save by Spring. And hopefully Jar of Jam will return sooner rather than later. Minfipai. It's a good save from Akfus. And to be fair, Ramranch doing continue on with 2 minutes, 3 minutes left of this game. Get your maths right, James. That'd be a good one. Oh, real name drop as well. You know it's serious. Chuvas. Big save from Refke. And Grumpy away. They are dealing with the... Well, they were dealing with the pressure handsomely, but that pressure has finally paid off. Spring with the goal, and just taking a little look here, it was a wild clearance, and it was a massive pinch there between Spring and Akfus, and we're 1 goal apiece.
It's such a shame to see Ramranch, after that great first half of the game, concede on what basically amounted to an own goal. Akfus next time, well, it's nice to have some activity in front, but man, just a little bit more careful. And right here, nobody from the Ramranch can get the ball through. And whilst we don't use that opportunity, it is another close one for Ramranch in a game that they're surprisingly looking so much more stronger than in previous weeks.
Good redirected attempt there from Chuvas. He goes just high. And now it's Akfus with limited boost to work with. And he doesn't even do well with that. Spring tries to get under Grumpy. Good block. Chuvas throws it towards the backboard. Refka misses his touch. In comes Minfipai off the top of the cage. Is anyone there to follow in? It's Spring who gets a double shot, but both shots going too high. Grumpy with a good touch off the backboard. Minfipai down, straight to Grumpy. Throws it over to the right-hand side. Spring meets it before he goes into the orange half. Refka continues to play, but Chuvas was there to throw it back down to Minfipai, who's going to try and get a touch. Misses himself. Chuvas up high. Here comes Spring, and there goes Spring in. 2-1.
And the passing plays are once again working wonders for Wea. Just working the ball through, putting it slightly in front of the players of Ramranch. And since they don't have that player that usually goes for strong clears of the initial passes of their opponents, they're relying on all of the 3 players being in the net. Sometimes a little bit too easy. And this will be extra easy if not for Grumpy. The kickoff didn't work out for Ramranch, but that save definitely gave them some wings, if only for a little while. We had regrouped, got back on the action, and Chuvas almost from a standing position, unattended. Well, he was unattended. He was unopposed as well. Yes, the ball on target, and that perfect start by Ramranch is slowly being undone.
And that is a story that we have seen all too often this season, Jam. We talk about them starting out the blocks well. They do well for the first 2-3 minutes, and then it all collapses 4-1.
Man, Ramranch even went for a double kickoff for that time. Why? I'm not exactly sure, but that really didn't pay them any dividends. The follow-up from Grumpy on that pinch from the center and off the wall. You know that we were much better with their heads in the game, as opposed to what Ramranch have been thinking about. Open net. And man, I've heard to say it's a game of 2 halves. We had a really great half number 1. And now this is Weite all of a sudden, out of nowhere, appearing and saying, all right, playtime's over. Now we're playing seriously. And look what they're doing to our poor Ramranch.
The pace has just accelerated and accelerated. We've gone through gears 1 and 2. We're into 3rd, 4th gear. And Akfus just he couldn't keep up. He was standing in net as the ball trickled in. And with a minute left, it's not exactly the embarrassing score lines that we were talking about last week, Jam, but 5-1 on any other week is still an absolute smacking of a scoreline. It tells a team, or it tells a tale of 2 teams who are vastly separated in terms of quality, in terms of confidence, in terms of form. Minfipai trying to do it all himself, and Chuvas eventually got the shot on net, saved by Refke. And speaking of, throws it over to the corner where no orange player is. Probably the best option as Grumpy looks to start a counter-attack. Here comes Refke off the backboard. In comes Akfus, who feels bad, backflips. And if that doesn't sum up his season, I don't know what does. He's been in and out the team. Whenever he's been in, he's not been that great.
Whoopsie daisy. That was a perfect opportunity for Akfus to get another goal on board. Setup was great. He had the boost, he had the everything, but it seems like indeed feels backflip man, just the signature for the whole of his season. Ramranch right now can at the very least set them up to the game number 1. Remember how they started game number or game number 2. They can remember how they started game number 1 in attack with pressure, and Weite could be tested. You remember how many shots came on target as Akfus tries for yet the last attempt. Won't work from here, but it's a far cry what has been happening last week with 10 goals per game, or even 11 goals being scored. Post-game Strong really got some smacking last time. Ramranch mostly avoided. It was usually the first game that I was absolutely crazy. Later on, it died down. So I really, honestly, in a way, Ramranch can actually feel a little bit proud about themselves.
Yes.
If you sort of think about the first half of the game and not the second one, because the moment the goals started coming in, they didn't stop coming in.
No.
Mistakes from the kickoffs, it just felt as if you give one punch to Ramranch, they're down on the floor for the count. And by that, during that time, we can just do absolutely anything to Ramranch and it will stick.
It was like Ramranch almost poked the metaphorical beast when they went into... I mean, it's hard to believe. They led in this game at one point, and then it just all went to pieces. Over 15 shots on target for Weite. If you were to look at the stats alone, you'd say they absolutely dominated. They had a great game, no issues whatsoever. And I feel like the scoreline could have maybe been a little lower. I think it was a bit flattering for Weite, in all honesty, especially given how good they were in that first half. And they've just got to take comfort from it. There's no other way that they've got to look about it. We're talking about potentially their last 2 games of this series, right? Of the season. Make it count. And let's see whether they can in game number 2, once again, 5 minutes on the clock. And it's going to be Grumpy. Minfipai blocks the attack, and Akvas throws it over to the other side. Here comes Chuvas now, into the centre, finds Minfipai, tries to get the redirect in, tries to help it in himself, and that is a case study, a masterclass, Jam, in persistence and not giving up on a lost cause.
There is so much speed lacking from Ramranch right now. That play was them chasing the ball as Weite were executing a play that wasn't exactly going their way. They were indeed just finishing up the play, continuing going with the play. Well, when it went a little bit sour, that pass wasn't ideal. That shot from his side wasn't ideal. But the Ramranch couldn't read the direction of the ball, and they suffered as a result of that. Nobody was able to clear, nobody able to block. And even this attempt, just sitting in front of Ramranch's net, nobody is quick enough to clear it. Akvas goes in, stops, and by that point, Grumpy, wasn't really Grumpy's job to go for it, and it just allows Weite amidst all that chaos, to jump in and continue on with their attack.
I apologize to any vegetarians and vegans for the upcoming analogy, but I think it's very apt. It's almost like we're watching the process of livestock here, Jam. We saw them alive and well, nice and kicking. They were having a lovely life, Ramranch. And then they got absolutely slaughtered, and now they look like dead meat. It's just a continuation of what we saw in game number 1. There has been no sign of any attacking impetus. There's been no sign of them looking like they're going to give it a go. Although, that as soon as I say that, Akvas comes and not only blows my previous shade at him out the water, but I don't know why I'm a caster. That's what we're learning here.
It's okay, like, it's absolutely okay. What is not okay is that Spring actually gave Akvas a benefit of the doubt, or he thought maybe, well, Akvas is over there, I don't think he will be able to do this. Akvas absolutely did. The only problem is then Akvas did this. Is there a follow-up? Grumpy fucking jumping on through. Crossbar just delays the inevitable. But just for a moment, Akvas done 2 wondrous things on both sides of the field. And it was looking also close for Ramranch as they will be able to clear this one. Alright, well, still a possibility, although the goals are now starting not to trickle in, but to snowfall in, and God knows what the scoreline would be by the end of this one. A little bit too aggressive for Repke, but now, with a combination of players, maybe, at least they're finding themselves on the other side of the field, our league. That's something for Ramranch.
Do that more, Akvas. Just everything. I mean, okay. He got stuck in the back of the net. We're going to ignore that and say, do that more for the offensive and defensive things. Sadly, the snowfall's starting to turn into a bit of a tundra. Very nice little tap-in from Chuvas. That was a difficult shot from the angle which he was at. The end result is still the same, though. 4-1, and we've still got 3.5 minutes to go. 5-1,
and we still have more than 3.5 minutes to go.
Oh, boy.
We needed to get our facts straight. And another kickoff. This one was a complete miss by Refke.
That's the same tactic they used last week as well, wasn't it?
Indeed, yeah. Spring going for the side, not straight up. Look at that. Will you see him doing that again? Nope, not this time. He's the one going for the kickoff. But he loves going straight to the middle, grabbing that boost. And if the kickoff is favorable to his team, all of a sudden they got almost a 2 versus 1 advantage. He can boom it down the field. And that's exactly what happened here, especially with that kickoff completely missing the Ramranch player. Now they are on the attack, but they need someone who will put the ball through. Instead, it's Spring blocking the ball, setting up Minfipai.
Oh!
Not on that attempt, but Spring is still waiting. A passing play. Oh, actually, I was expecting a pass to Minfipai. Instead, a rush back. And Ramranch actually gets scot-free out of that situation.
How un-Minfipai-like. That was an open net and he missed. But you know what? I feel like we're almost seeing the birth of a new meta here. I realise that they're doing this against opponents which they are very comfortable against. Chuvas putting in number 6 there as if to further evidence my my case here. But it is a brilliant strategy when you think about it, because if you are that confident on the kickoff, you're instantly in a 2v1 or 2 situation with 100 boost. It just makes all types of sense. Less than, or more than I should say, 2.5 minutes remain, and you can see why Weite are highly fancied going into LAN.
Yeah, they can allow that strategy, and it just increases their lead even more with whatever they currently have on the field, with their passing plays, with these open opportunities. Spring using the crossbar to put in the 7th, and we now have an official Brazil our league.
It's a Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, with the time still remaining, we might see a double Brazil as long as Weite score 7 more goals and Ramrange concedes. Weite score 7 goals and Ramrange scores 1 as well. But right now, it is, again, the difference in speed. Every single time we see a passing play by Weite, we see Ramrange chasing that play, not really being able to keep up with what Weite are thinking. And it results in so many attacks. There was an attempt by Refke to clear it off the backboard, but since he didn't touch it and the rest of the players weren't anywhere close enough to clear it, Akfis actually thought about going for a boost, thought that maybe there might be a poor clear, decided against it, still didn't help the Ramrange. Now it's 8-1 in favor of Weite.
Are they going for professional ball chasers record? They won both of them.
And
it's very possible as well, 9-1. We are 2 away from equaling the record. Remember, it's 11 goals, the most scored in one game of Rocket League in BESL.
It almost looks a bit too easy for Weite. There are 3 players by Ramrange. I've checked. They're still on the field, still in their cars.
They're still moving, yeah?
Yeah, but it seemed like they are set pieces.
Oh, there it is again!
Holy moly, it's Spring again with his tactic. Look at that. Going straight to the left, grabbing the boost, going for the big one, and even if Refke demolished Minfipai, Spring is still there, and for yet another time, Ramrange are not ready for that. You are used to the usual 1 for a kickoff, 2 for a kickoff this time, almost getting it through. Now Chuva's trying the same strategy, almost getting the ball on target, and Ramrange hapless and distraught, and I might run out of the negative adjectives here, because this is the demolition, and 11-2 scoreline will be beat this game, getting close with their shots. Ramrange sort of still in this game. They're trying to at very least get back on the other side. Nobody has dropped down their controller, but I'm going back to my old point. There are Ramrange players on the field, but what Weite are doing makes Ramrange players invisible.
Just stick someone in net. Just stick someone in net on kickoff. If you know that's happened to you once, why would you not do that afterwards? Is this going to be goal number 11? No, just goes high wide. And Spring gets Minfipai, and there is goal number 11. The record has been equaled. Are we going to see it beaten?
Yeah, and the initial goal didn't go through, but with the way that Ramrange are playing, their clears are... They put everything in those clears. They put all the speed, all the boost, unfortunately all the players as well. So quite often you see after one shot by Weite, everyone from Ramrange committing on it, and they don't get anything. And there's a second chance for Weite that is on an empty net, because everyone from Ramrange has gone. Drop, no, Akfis goes for it, doesn't get it. I'm still surprised we're seeing Ramrange on the other side of the field. Honestly, with the way this game has been going, it feels like they don't know what they can't. They basically can't get on the other side of the field. Yet still that is happening. There are 30 seconds remaining. Our league 12th goal. Is it a miracle?
There it is.
It is. My goodness. After last week, we thought this can't possibly happen again. Not only it happened again, it happened in even bigger fashion. We've seen 13 goals. Now there's 30 seconds to break the goals scored in one game record. We might see that one broken yet still.
Yeah, so what was the record for most goals scored in one game?
So that will be 12 goals. Actually, no, apologies. It's 13 goals. It's 11-2.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's already equaled in this game. Professional Ball Chasers 11, Ramrange 3. So just one more separates WeIte of getting that record, Ramrange getting that anti-record. Both these records were against them, so...
Well, I mean, listen, goals over the entire match, it's a group effort, and so they can both be proud if they manage to do it. They're quite happy to settle for, though. WeIte, record-breaking. WeIte, morale-breaking. That is 12 goals to 1. A new most goals scored in one game by one team record. It didn't even last a week, professional ball chasers. And yes, you do read right. That is 21 shots on target for the side of WeIte. They converted over half of them. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. It was the professional ball chasers who were converting more than 50% of their shots. This time it's WeIte. Again, I was expecting the second game to be slower, perhaps. We saw that last week. Ball chasers went 11, 5, and 8 goals in their 3 games against the Ramrange, while the WeIte went 10, 10, and 7. Here, though, it was completely a different affair. WeIte picked up and never stopped. And the goals just continued coming through. Same mistake showing up for Ramrange. And as much as it was like for them to make up something on the field, their attack at times is looking pretty threatening whenever they get the opportunity. But their defense, oh boy, I think by the end of the season there will be another battle. Not just both ball chasers versus WeIte as to who can score most goals, but there might be a more disgraceful one, which team will concede the most. Which team will have the worst defense? And right now, Ramrange, unfortunately, they're in contention, in the running for that. So much open space for WeIte. But that's also to the credit of WeIte. They make it look effortless. The way they just waltz in between the opposition player, finding the opportunities. Refke without the boost will concede the first goal.
It is just a very good team. I mean, every single one of those players, Jam, got a hat trick at least. Last game. I think Minfipai got 5 assists, and so even though he wasn't the top goal scorer, he actually scored the most points and contributed the most, because that's just how this sort of team work. The Diestro being rocked by Refka. Goodness me, we've not seen that since the days of Super Witch. Spoiler alert, you might see him later today. You're also going to see more goals, inevitably, as Spring doubles their advantage.
And it was only 15 seconds? Honestly,
yeah.
I thought already about a minute has passed, but no, it's all these goals being scored on the replays that we're seeing that do not allow the time to fly much faster. The Ramrange. I mean, it's tough. It's definitely tough, but WeIte are not even breaking a sweat, it seems, by this point. While the Ramrange are running all over the field, using all the boost available. Look at where Akfas is. Look at where Refke is. Even if Grumpy doesn't win his challenge, there is no follow-up, no backup strategy, no defender in net for Ramrange to do anything. While WeIte, they are even can put that many players up front. There's always someone from WeIte just roaming in front of Ramrange's net, being able to get those redirects and cherry picks. There's an opportunity, maybe a breakaway. Not this time. And the strong clear from Minfipai sort of just breaks the attack. And the clear is great for Spring, puts it exactly where nobody for Ramrange can reach.
And I guess another worry for Ramrange is, I mean, let's look at one player in particular. We know how good Grumpy is because of how well he played with the Backflip Boys earlier in the season. A team that is going to LAN. Ramrange are going to be lucky to keep hold of him after this season. I'd look at Refke as well. He's not had the best of seasons. I'd say second half immeasurably better than the first half, and that's always going to be a worry with these teams down the lower end of things, and especially looking as hapless as they are in games like this. You'd be expected to lose against a team like WeIte, but at least lose with some dignity. And okay, they might have scored some goals, but their defense has been so wide open, it's been laughable at times. And so the likes of Grumpy, the likes of Refke, you wouldn't blame them for moving on to a different team post-season. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more about that. I know that we had a load of different roster changes in season as well, but post-season I'm curious to see what happens for sure, as we have over 3 minutes remaining. Ramrange, actually, to be fair, have gotten into this game number 3 now. I imagine that WeIte have maybe taken their foot off the pedal, so to speak. But it's only 3-0, 3 minutes left. Maybe some hope to score another goal. Well, wrong side. But at least we did get another goal. It came from Spring. He's got his hat-trick.
And just for a second, it's stopped by this kill by the ball by both Grumpy, Chuvas, and Refke, allowed WeEye to set up yet another one. A little bit of unfortunate string of events for Ramranch. That was maybe more on Lady Luck and mispositioning initially than some big mistake in defense. But WeEye, the train of WeEye doesn't stop, and even if the scoreline is lower than in previous games, so far Ramranch weren't able to really muster up an attack on the other side of the field. There's always that one that we saw in the previous games. Here, though, all these opportunities are being killed. Refkill looking for any boost on the field, spending a lot of time in the midfield. Now we'll return. No passing plays for him, but at least will they outplay 2? Can they do something out of it? No, just spending a little bit too much time getting the ball under control and not able to quickly strike on WeEye as they are themselves a little bit overextended.
This is like the Ramranch we saw with Super at the helm, because you can tell that defensively they've shored up a lot, but it's also completely killed their attacking momentum because they're trying to be more solid in rotations. And I think this has been really the ultimate flaw of Ramranch, is they've got this slider and they can't find the middle ground. It's either one extreme or the other. Less than 2 minutes remaining on the clock, and it is still a comfortable 4-goal margin for WeEye. Ramranch yet to score a goal in game number 3. Minfipai gonna travel over to the far side, although it's a great challenge by Akfus. Doesn't get it past Spring. And up goes Chuvas to continue to play. Goes down, tries to find Spring. Goes high. And this could allow a counter-attacking play. Akfus managing to find on the far side there Grumpy, who whiffs the shot. Open net. Chance has gone.
It's the nerves. It really gets to this one small opportunity. I've been there myself with my fair share of shots. Here, though, it's the question of dignity. Just scoring at least 1, or maybe at least 2. Even getting the game is already would feel like a victory for Ramranch. But with the way the game number 3 has been going, despite the lowest amount of goals they've conceded, they also took the we also didn't see Ramranch completely going bananas with their plays, doing triple commits and all that, but it also didn't seem like they had much power in the attack either. So this result was just the end of something that we expected. A passing play. Look at that.
There we go.
Even Minfipai can get on the end. I spoke too soon. Ramranch do get one on board after they outplay WeEye, playing a little bit too close to the heart.
It was almost anti-rugby. The tackle in from Refke, the pass over from Akfus, the goal scored by Grumpy. That was a lovely bit of play. And if that is the last goal scored by Ramranch this season, then they can be proud of it. Chuvas going to follow the ball into the corner, blocks the attempted clearance from Akfus. Comes out to Minfipai now, who throws a weak one in. Easy save for Akfus. Spring gets it over 2 players. And look at that. What you can do, we can do better. It just goes wide from Chuvas. But the defense was just sliced open like warm butter. And well, we built this city. We built this city. Oh man, I was going to be so cool there with the cool thing. We built this city on sweeps and goals, and we are continuing that. The banana peel has been traversed successfully. My dignity has been lost from attempting to do something cool and completely flubbing my lines. WeEye 3-0 sweep Ramranch, and they head into their final series of the season against professional ball chasers with that chance of stealing top spot.
We will fix that in post our league, don't worry. It's all going to be fine.
It'll work out fine. We'll edit it out. It'll be great.
Exactly. Nobody has noticed a single thing. There's a 10-minute delay on the stream, so I mean, there's still time. You know how on like Super Bowl they had a button that they can press because there's a delay, and if someone's dress falls off, they can just sort of press it. We'll do that. The magic will be still there.
Love it.
And the magic for WeEye is still there as well. You mentioned butter, I think, or at the very least you mentioned bread. So
warm butter and a knife through it.
Indeed. So speaking of that, they then took that butter, they put it on their bread, and their bread and butter, how about that segue, for WeEye is still those passing plays. You could see how it's a world of a difference it makes for that team. It's against Ramranch, who are not familiar with that playstyle. They're not used to playing in something like that. As a result, they're not used to reading those plays, putting players to contest those plays, and just in general react to this play style happening on the field against them. Ramirez themselves don't use that playstyle either. They're trying to do the passing plays, but it's almost like an afterthought rather than a part of their game plan. And Wiite are just using that skill, that plan, that tactic to their advantage, while Ramranch look completely flabbergasted when they're against it. And our leak is looking asleep at my screen. And it's still someone's connection, and I'm not sure whose it is. Yep, it's... Oh, no. Producers, would you be so kind to tell me whether it's me who's experiencing the troubles or whether it's Arlie who's experiencing the troubles?
I think it's Discord that's experiencing the troubles from, what we've understood.
Discord...
So, Discord is being naughty. Let's go replay my point. Ramranch now propping up the table. I was going to say, I'm glad that every team has at least won one series, Jam. Because again, to any people who say, oh, the Baltic League isn't competitive or anything. It is. We've just got two extremely good teams in Wiite and Professional Ball Chasers. That makes taking out a team like Ramranch look all that much easier. And I feel like we're going to be seeing a very similar case with our next series. Speaking of Professional Ball Chasers, they're going to be heading up against Mind Games eSports. And after watching that first series, Ramranch versus Mind Games, Jam, we were thinking Mind Games, might they have a chance to get into LAN? Let's wait and see. As it turns out, their series or their season kind of tapered off a little bit, and they will do very well for themselves if they can even take one game off the Professional Ball Chasers.
As we mentioned at the start of this broadcast, there will be no changes to the teams going to the LAN. Everything has been already decided. Professional Ball Chasers have cemented their place pretty early. Well, last week as well, basically. But for Mind Games, it's also pretty much over with 1-5 results. This is their last game of the season. And just like Ramranch, they can go out in an explosion of glory.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So they are on 4-16. Ramranch, of course, after losing in a sweep, are 4-18. So if Mind Games were to take a game off Professional Ball Chasers, they potentially give themselves a chance of not finishing rock bottom. That's where nobody wants to be. And for post-game strong, you'd argue that they actually have their best chance to get off the bottom of the table, since they face Scavenge eSports, the other team that didn't make it to LAN, aside from the three we've already mentioned. And for the side of Mind Games eSports, I don't know. It's a case of what could have been, I feel, because they have taken 4 overall game wins, much like Ramranch, but they never really seem to come to the table with a solid strategy, if you understand what I mean. It's not like Ramranch where they try and hit you hard, hit you fast within the first few minutes and hope that overwhelms you. They kind of try to play to the game as it goes along, and it leaves themselves open to more exposures of flaws than it does trying to expose other teams' flaws.
Yeah, the playstyle for Mind Games eSports, we especially saw that last week when we saw Mind Games with 2 of the games. Both of them were lost in a 0-3 scoreline versus the Spectre and the Backflip Boys. The biggest flaw I saw in their game was their lack of cohesion between the players. We saw Pumpkin Digger play his own game. He's a high-level player. He has his own idea. He has his own plan. And MacGyver and Gustas couldn't keep up with that idea. They weren't thinking the same. As a result, the plays weren't going for Mind Games eSports even when they got the ball. Pumpkin Digger tried to set up a play. Nobody from the rest of the players didn't come up to that. On the field, there was a lot of double commit. I do believe that was Gustas last week especially, who was going for the same shots as Pumpkin Digger was, which was resulting in so many double commits in one game for Mind Games eSports. I don't think I've seen any that amount from any of the teams in the league. Today, though, there's a little bit of a change. Flake is actually subbing in for Gustas, and with Flake being fielded for this final week, we actually now have seen all the official subs in action. He was the last sub that was registered for a season who hasn't yet participated. So here they've decided to field, and he's actually a pretty good player. He might be that missing extra ingredient that mind games maybe have wanted. And Erlich, actually, I have a question for you, a little bit of a one-question quiz, if you wouldn't mind. Who do you think is the sub that has played the most games in the season?
I mean, it's got to be Krysic, right? I know that he was officially picked up. I guess it's how technical do you want to get at this?
No. I'm only basing this on the official stat page. So Krysic is a good guess. Actually, I would thought, yeah, maybe that's him. But Krysic has played 9 games.
Yeah.
There's a player who has played more, and that is Scavenge Esports' Kikis. He has played 11.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Scavenge Esports have that 10 to 11 scoreline. They've played 21 games so far, Scavenge Esports.
Of course.
So also through that, there's more chances for them to actually field more of players on the field. Actually, quickly checking, Scavenge Esports. Yeah, Keo with 21 games himself right now has played in every single one of them. The only players that have a little more games is Sarius of the Backflip Boys with 22 and Samic V2 of the Spectre also with 22. So yeah, here, but that's about it. Let's see. I'm actually excited to see whether the Mind Games Esports with a little bit of a change can turn their destiny around, because they were missing a lot last week. Again, just cohesion, just the overall idea. They had the speed, but they had one player going one way and the other players going the other way. Now, against the professional ball chasers, it will be hard, but it's never easy. Professional ball chasers at the top of the board with so many goals to their name. With one of their records broken today, they will be looking for a little bit of blood and more records to their name.
I seem to remember a certain Linkarino doing pretty decently for Mind Games when he subbed in previously during the season. So we certainly wish Flakesy the best of luck as he subs in on this final week. It's, of course, the professional ball chasers in the blue and Mind Games in their natural orange. Phoenix already dancing around the defense, but being beaten out there by Pumpkin Digger. And we're just getting news through, actually, that apparently Chuvis's power has just gone out. Good timing, I would say, considering that he has just played his series. But that is worrying if he can't get that back on in time for the final series of the week. A series in which they will face professional ball chasers who continue their fine form. Why Not Party with a swerving, overhanging goal. And before the first minute is out, it is 1-0.
Why Not Party opens up the party of this particular matchup, but I wouldn't say that professional ball chasers had that big of a command on the field right now. It is still possible for the Mind Games to actually get pretty close and personal with their opponents, and especially with the clears going to be working out, but Pumpkin Digger decides to play a little bit more passively. Didn't want to go against Why Not Party. Perhaps he made a good decision. That could have been a bounce not in his favor. But by that point that the shot has come in, he wasn't able to do anything in the net. And professional ball chasers quickly make it 2-0 after a quick counter-attack. Leaves Mind Games defenders guessing.
I really hope that Why Not Party's kind of like the Baltics version of CJ. I'm just expecting him to come out like with some crown and some electronic glass sunglasses or something, with a Why Not Party coming over them as like a text message. I don't know. Good player as well to boot. Rocking that blue traffic cone on top of his car. And you're absolutely right. It's not exactly been a dominating first half here from professional ball chasers. Mind Games have looked competitive. They've yet to have formulated a striking opportunity as of yet, but still time for that. Pumpkin Digger. It's a save from KK. And Why Not Party lifts it up over MacGyver. Flakesy does get the block in, but the sheer power from Why Not Party's clearance is able to get it into a dangerous position. Pumpkin Digger ultimately clearing up here. Flakesy to the corner, looking to get a second touch, but runs out of boost before he can hit the ball. Phoenix downfield, onto the backboard. And the game's settling down here as we head towards half-time.
It does look like the addition of Flakes instead of Gustas have definitely helped Pumpkin Digger. Ooh. And the rest of the Mind Games open up off the post, off another post with KK doing the backflips to save his life and the life of his team as well. But it does feel like the addition of one extra player that has on the same wavelength as Pumpkin Digger does help Mind Games to play a more threatening game. All of a sudden, it's just working out. It's clicking out for them. And while they still haven't really scored just yet, those 3 shots, the same amount as the Ball Chasers, who really get them opportunity, if not in this game, then the upcoming games. They are now a formidable opponent on the field. And Pro Ball Chasers better not snooze on this one. Even MacGyver gets himself an opportunity, but too eager in his attempt at an empty net.
That was an empty net, wasn't it? That was wide and open, and Pumpkin Digger! Big save from KK. As the Digger drove towards the net, Why Not Party sees Phoenix, gets the doink, he's going to get the double tap! He does, but it's a big save from Flakesy, and in comes KK to no avail. Shot on target, and Why Not Party has his hat-trick. I know it went a little quiet there, I was waiting to see if the clearance could be made, but no one was going to deny Professional Ball Chasers their 3rd goal.
My goodness, the height that he put in that shot is incredible. There was so many positions in the net that the Mind Games could have stopped. Not straight under the crossbar, not with that power. Why Not Party is a threat today, and when later the Wiat will be playing against him, they better close him down. Phoenix, he's great. KK, he's pretty darn good as well. But Why Not Party today seemingly just finding goals in all the best places and not stopping. Mind Games eSports, despite looking as best as they've looked all season long, as all 3 players missed the ball, they might still not have enough when Why Not Party's on fire.
Why Not Parties, they say that Why Not Party shots are so good that they create opportunities for other players even if they don't go through. And I can see why, because he seems to come up with all sorts. Minute left now, and Mind Games, they've looked good. They've looked really good, but sadly for them, Professional Ball Chasers, once again, as they have been all season long, have just looked on another level to everyone else. Pumpkin Digger goes towards the net. KK, it's not registered as a save, just making sure more than anything. Pumpkin Digger does a similar thing on the other side of the pitch for Mind Games, as KK comes in from the top. MacGyver with a loose touch. That's given straight to Why Not Party, goes wide, no follow-up, and the ball is batted away as we head into the final 30 seconds.
Shaky in the defense, but Professional Ball Chasers are not stopping, and I do believe I completely lagged out of this one.
It's okay, don't worry. We'll continue on. There's only 5 seconds left anyway, and I think from this point on, it's pretty much assured what's going to happen. We had an open net situation for Mind Games. The goals were there to be taken. They didn't take them. They didn't end up putting Professional Ball Chasers under any sort of pressure. And it means that Professional Ball Chasers, I should say in terms of the scoreline, not in terms of the actual opportunities, they were there. It's the difference between a team that knows how to finish their chances and a team that's lacking confidence, that's maybe a little bit overeager to get one over one of the top teams in the league. It's Professional Ball Chasers 3, Mind Games 0, and the first point of this series goes to the team in blue.
It will be pretty hard for Mind Games to convert that eagerness to win into an actually stable game. But I'm still sticking with my prediction on the fact that Flakesy and Pumpkin Digger together can make some magic. As long as they keep their defensive end tight, they can still score on Professional Ball Chasers, especially knowing that the game was pretty darn close for longest periods of time. Ball Chasers were up by 2, and by that point, Mind Games were still with the same amount of shots as their opposition. So opportunities on both sides of the field are appearing with roughly the regular occasion. So for Mind Games eSports, why not take the game number 2? It's usually, though, that every single time that the weaker team takes game number 2, the stronger team then comes back in game 3 and 4 and completely takes it. I've seen the 3-1 scoreline with the losing team taking game number 2 so many times already. But why not make it here? Professional Ball Chasers have yet to lose a single game. That's how crazy their play is so far. Obviously, this might all change today. There's still at least 5 games to be played. Those 2, well, at least 2 against Mind Games eSports and at least 3 against Wiat. So let's see what happens. Mind Games, I still have a lot of trust in them so far.
We've still yet to see a Game 5, of course. In all of Season 3 of the BESL, we have yet to see a game number 5 in a series. It would be a welcome surprise if it happens in this game. But so far, Professional Ball Chasers looking good for their money, certainly. Flakesy away. Over to the side, Pumpkin Digger chases, but backs out of it. He knows KK is going to get there first. Why Not Party goes high. Down. And Pumpkin Digger with the save from Phoenix. And once again, it's a case of Mind Games. They're not exactly fashioning, too many good opportunities. And that's a massive mistake from Flakesy. The sub suicides. He commits Sudoku. And that's an easy tap in for KK.
By God, how on earth did he even get that much power on it? I was expecting him to pinch it and send it straight down to the blue side of the field. Instead, Flakesy gets such a powerful touch in the direction of his own net. And even the remaining Mind Games defender can quickly react to it. Still, mistakes are coming in through. Pumpkin Digger a little bit too high, perhaps. Going upside down would have helped him in that situation. But I think he was as surprised at that chance presenting itself as I was. And everyone else on the field. So Mind Games get an opportunity up front. Don't use it, but we'll definitely try again.
It was definitely a harder opportunity than the MacGyvers, don't get me wrong, but KK, the hero there, bringing in the tap-in, almost the villain, missing the crucial save. MacGyver goes up high. All he's got to do is redirect it. He ends up missing it. Everyone ends up missing it. Who's going to get it on target? The answer is no one, as Flakesy's only able to put a tepid shot towards the blue backboard. Down it comes now into the hands of a grateful KK who gets it away. Mind Games eSports are being handed goals on a plate here, and still they can't put it away.
And man, Professional Ball Chasers, they better beware. They're making so many tiny mistakes this game. That wasn't a mistake by them. That was a mistake by Mind Games eSports by basically rotating and giving this huge lane down the middle of the field. But so many Professional Ball Chasers' mistakes are appearing. They're not getting punished by Mind Games eSports as though they really would like to. They need to get one on the board. Still haven't scored a single one in the 7 minutes that have already passed in this series. But if Professional Ball Chasers don't fix this until their next game versus Weite, we might already know who's going to be winning this one. As a goal from a kickoff comes in, and while nobody's getting the touches in the air, KK just follows up the trajectory of the ball and puts an easy goal to make it 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to say, wouldn't you? If this was, I'd even go as far as to say, if this was a Scavenge, or if this was Backflip Boys, or if this was Spectre, would they have put those away? I would have put some money on it, certainly. Though I am not a betting man, of course. MacGyver looking to get this one off the backboard. KK gets there first, but Pumpkin Digger provides the save. Why Not Party? Easy clearance for MacGyver. Phoenix meets it before it travels too far into the blue half. KK up high, sees Phoenix still on the side. Phoenix infield. Why Not Party? Round the corner. And that is a beautiful team goal from a team that has been providing them all season long.
How on earth? There was only one true angle happening there. Pumpkin Digger and Flakes were covering 2/3 of the field. And where does the ball go? In one spot that isn't covered, the near post. And so close to the post it was that it could have gone either way. And yes, Professional Ball Chasers are still scoring. One thing you definitely can take away from them is that their shooting percentage is still crazy. Their defense is a little bit questionable today, but you know that they can score goals with the help of their opponents as well.
Let's see. Oh, wow. And so for those interested in the Chuvas update, by the way, is number 5 goes in from Phoenix. So apparently Chuvas is actually going to physically travel to their sub Aries place to be able to play. That is some ingenuity, and I love that they're able to do that as well. Continuing on with this game, at least, in series number 2. 5-0 then to Professional Ball Chasers, who have only been out 6-0 to Professional Ball Chasers. This is so harsh on Mind Games, but then again, they didn't put their opportunities away, Jam, and they are paying the price so ever dearly.
Yeah, it is. You need to execute on every single small opportunity that presents itself. And we're sounding like a broken record, and there has been a few. So scoring 1 or 2 goals previously could have turned this game around, would have forced Professional Ball Chaser to play a little bit more conservatively, as a result, not get that many opportunities on the other side of the field. But since Mind Games didn't use those chances, well, you see what the result is. And even with those not most favorable shots, they're still getting the opportunity. Someone needs to clear it, please. My heart rate is spiking, and I can't look at this anymore. Phoenix won a party, tried to pass it between each other. Don't get a goal on that opportunity. Let's see how quickly Mind Games can recover from this. This is really one of the marks of being a great team. How quickly can you go from, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we're about to be scored upon, to making a counterattack work. Pumpkin Digger is constantly rotating. He's going down the field. He's seeing, all right, in just a second we'll get the ball. I will move up front to wait for a pass. And so far, not really working out for Mind Games. Finally, the clear comes in. They can't really keep up the ball in the side of the field or the opposing side of the field for too long, and back it goes to the Urn side.
I feel like all of those opportunities that Mind Games had have now been equaled by Professional Ball Chasers. How many saves or close calls were there in that 10-second period? It must have been 3 or 4. And I feel like this 6-goal scoreline now fully 100% justified for Professional Ball Chasers. Flakesy isn't even able to get the clearance. MacGyver, neither him. Flakesy forced to go up high just to try and get the clearance. He flat out misses, and Pumpkin Digger, by virtue of just staying in net, able to make the save. Another one goes a-begging for Professional Ball Chasers as Pumpkin Digger once again coming in clutch. Why not party? Into the corner, and finally Flakesy throws it downfield.
Speaking of counting and maths, how many times were the woodwork hit in that particular attack? Too many to count, I feel. Professional Ball Chasers hit every single side of the wall, of the posts, of the crossbars. Still couldn't get it through, but hey, I don't think there will be too miffed about that. It's 6-0 for them, improving on their previous result, getting themselves 15 shots on target. And while it's still not the more than 50% conversion on their shots that they had the previous week, they are improving. As if they needed improving, really, our league. Professional Ball Chasers, they are still great when it comes to attacking. Their technique is sublime. When it comes to just working with the ball, making those little touches or making shots on target, you would know that they would take their time and get themselves in the best possible position to make a strike. From that come the goals by Phoenix, KK, and One At Party. KK actually the top goal scorer for the side of Professional Ball Chaser. I would expect it would be One At Party, but One At Party, at least at the start of this week, was trailing KK by 7 goals. So think about it as you will, because One At Party, I think he was slightly weak in the opening weeks, but then really
he was more of a creator than an actual scorer.
That as well.
Of course, Pumpkin Digger, the real winner there. Winner of the Just Blaze Award with 420 points. Sadly, 420 points isn't enough to score 6 goals. And I definitely think, again, Mind Games have opportunities to take this fight to Professional Ball Chasers, but if they want to win this series, they're going to have to start it here with a win in game number 3. Reverse sweep as well. What a way to see our first game 5. Might be our last game 5 of season 7 as well. Who knows? But immediately, Professional Ball Chasers once again starting strong. MacGyver over to the side. Follows up his own clearance and does super well to get it past one. Phoenix and KK double commit. And the Red Sea opens for Pumpkin Digger. We have a goal.
I'm trying to figure out how did this happen. KK didn't reach it. His jump was a little bit off. Phoenix? I don't think Phoenix even had a chance. He was coming in way too late and off the mark. 2 of the players of Professional Ball Chasers misread the ball as it was bouncing off the wall. And what could have been an easy save in the net, if only they would put the second player in the net instead of going for the ball, it turns into a first goal for the Mind Games in this game against the Woodwork. It's the secret 4th player for Mind Games, and if in the previous game at the 6-0 scoreline it wasn't that important, here though, Mind Games are keeping their bacon intact.
I tell you what, Gustas might not be here in person, but he's here in spirit, certainly almost... I feel his presence in the Woodwork. Pumpkin Digger up high. It's another open net. Surely Flakesy. No, it's an own goal. And all of a sudden, the bad luck seems to have transferred over to professional ball chasers. What is happening?
Wait a second. What on earth is happening? Mind Games, though, turn a slightly awkward situation into the great one. Pumpkin Digger has enough reaction to send the ball skywards with a doink, and that allows Flakesy to set up. I can't possibly explain Phoenix's own goal, as I think he was trying to make a strong clear to the side, but didn't get enough angle on the ball and send it straight down. Professional ball chasers losing. It feels really weird to say that. Against Mind Games, only have one goal at one shot at the target. So how does it work?
Save!
Please, posts. That's not fair. Is the goal smaller? What is it? Professional ball chasers can't adjust their cannon of a shot and keep on hitting the same left or right side.
It feels apt that Pumpkin Digger's rocking those Shazam wheels because he has been absolutely superb all game. But finally, professional ball chasers get a break, and it's all thanks to an amazing twirly play from both KK and Why Not Party. Twisting about, and they needed to twist it to get it through finally. 2-1 now to Mind Games, and it's time to test their mettle because professional ball chasers are going to be coming at them like we've probably never seen them before.
Oh, man.
Immediately.
Almost right off the kickoff. Pumpkin Digger was going for the Spider-Man clear on the backboard. But here it comes again. Pumpkin Digger and Flakesy. I would expect them to be players of the similar caliber, of similar mindset. And a double commit on the backboard is the last thing they really needed. All they needed one. And since neither of them got it, open net opportunity. Is there any follow-up? There sure is. Flakesy.
Oh, he's done it!
He didn't put it straight forward when a professional ball chasers player was already expecting him to put it to the side and off another player. I think we saw 3 on goal already because Pumpkin Digger has also contributed to the ball going into the net of Mind Games previously. So is it 3 own goals in the same game? My God, I'm getting the vapors over here, our league. I didn't expect the game number 3 to go this way.
What even is this? And keep in mind as well, we might have a chance to win league play, to be top of the table. Professional ball chasers have more on the line. They have the potential to go undefeated all season. So to lose that here against Mind Games would be devastating, I'm sure. Half the game still to go. MacGyver looking for the redirect, just goes high. Flakesy. Phoenix, big save. And KK now is taken out for his own troubles. Flakesy brings it back, and there's Pumpkin Digger. The rotations, it's like we've got a different team on our hands. MacGyver doesn't win the challenge over KK. Flakesy over to the side to give his team more time to come back in. Brilliant work here from Mind Games. Maybe this was the ultimate end game for them. Okay. I'm going to eliminate that point immediately. I was going to say, oh, look at them. They're making them think that they're not as good as they are. No, the net was left wide open, and Why Not Party has his hat trick.
And just like with Thanos' snap, that speaking point has been eliminated. Professional ball chasers still, though, it was weird. For almost the first time this season, we were watching professional ball chasers in their defense. Really, their defense was being tested out. How will they be playing, being down in the face of adversity? There's Mind Games in the lead and really still continuously pushing at them. And we know that they still have one defensive trick up their sleeve, and that is attack, still scoring as many goals as they could possibly try. But with Mind Games already making such a big dent in game number 3, better be careful. No one goes there, please. They still have a pretty great opportunity to get one over professional ball chasers, especially since the mistakes are still there, and aided by the skill of the Mind Games. Right down the Why Not Party. That one helped in this game, but another opportunity presented itself.
This has been Why Not Party versus Pumpkin Digger, game number 3. Amazing, amazing effort from both players. Why Not Party, and there it is finally. KK with the tap in. And 1 minute remaining. It is professional ball chasers into the lead for the first time this game.
Things I didn't expect to hear at 1 minute mark in this game for sure. Professional Ball Chaser just manhandle the Last Man Games defender on a flank, and the speed once again comes into play, as we might see another one coming from the kickoff.
Save!
That is incredibly hard to do, going with your back, trying to clear it, and then they turn it from that save that could have gone to a 5-3 to a 4-4. Professional Ball Chasers themselves a little bit shocked. Arlik is out of his seat and almost celebrating. We have a game on our hands.
What is this? Incredible. 4-4. This is amazing stuff from Mind Games. KK, over to the side. Tries to get it past MacGyver. Does. Flakesy's there in net. Both him and Phoenix missed the play. Pumpkin Digger remaining in the corner, and his patience pays off, but he only palms it out to KK. Flakesy up high, and Pumpkin Digger there again, puts it out to the corner. Phoenix gets it over Flakesy. Does he get it past Pumpkin Digger? No. What a Goliath he has been in this game. Incredible work, and Phoenix has an open net, but MacGyver's there at the last 15 seconds. Unless a final goal is scored, we're heading to overtime. KK off the call, and he's finally got it in. It was off the post. He followed his own shot, 10 seconds left, and it all might be for naught for Mind Games.
Mind Games only needed one thing: to stay calm in the face of eventual Professional Ball Chasers attack. Just position yourself in the net, go one player at a time. But they didn't. MacGyver would be much more suited in the net still, rather than going for it again. For Mind Games, they need to quickly get the ball through, but Phoenix just does a little shuffle, brings the ball to the side, and the miracle that could have happened in game number 3 between Professional Ball Chasers and Mind Games was killed before our very own eyes, our league, but I can't complain. I was entertained. I was at the edge of my seat, because this could have been Professional Ball Chasers' first game lost. Not just series, game lost. Yet they continue their perfect 18-0 record. And we'll be going into the Wii game later on in the day with a lot of confidence, but man, there's a couple of questions being raised as well in front of our biggest game of the season.
Confidence after that game. You could tell Why Not Party was like, please don't show that on stream. It was a very entertaining game. I would say that's up there for top 3 games of the season, certainly. But that was the worst game to come off going into this Wii clash later today. 5-4. Mind Games put up such a good fight, but carrying on with the Thanos theme, you might say that it was inevitable. Here's the commercial break that is coming up right now. Still coming your way. We've got 2 series. We've got Scavenge, and we have Post-Game Strong in their final games of the season. And then, of course, game number 4, our match of the week. Absolute guaranteed now match of the season coming your way. It's going to be top of the table, Wii versus Professional Ball Chasers for the league itself. Before we head off to LAN, it's all coming your way after these messages. Very, very exciting times up ahead. I would argue the best matches possible, which could see us go to game number 5 for the first and last time this season. Myself, Ireleak, joined by Jar of Jam once again. But before we get to the big one, we have to look at these 2 teams who both know that they're not going to LAN. And so really, it is a bit of a nothing game, which I guess offers the most intrigue because we don't really know what to expect. Bottom of the table, Post-Game Strong. They have a chance to not be bottom of the table. Scavenge eSports have had a strong end to the season. Look to continue that on. I think more to confirm that they are a good team that should stick together for next season rather than a team that should maybe look elsewhere for players.
Exactly. For them, it's a strong opportunity to end this whole season on a bang. They are down a player today, though. They won't be having the forces of Ragus with them, but a familiar face is actually joining Scavenge Esports. Super will be the player on the field for them, and really, in a way, that might be actually beneficial for them. Again, the best thing they can do is just sweep their opposition for pride, not for any particular result. But Ragus, he has played 10 games with his team. he is at the bottom of the stat standings in basically all parameters. So getting in someone who's that much focused on the game or was trying to get results with his previous teams, Ramwrench, Super might actually be a pretty strong pickup for last week. On the other end of the field for Post Game Strong, it's not Recover Arceus and Dipsy, it's Recover Arceus and Need Banan. They also needed a little bit of help on the field as well. So the battle of two subs. And Need Banan, just like we saw in the previous game, Flake, we saw him for the first time. Flake was a pretty great substitute. I'm also excited to see what Need Banan can bring for Post Game Strong.
I'm going to stop you right there. Dipsy's in the server.
Have I been misled? And I do believe I have been indeed misled.
I think that information has been misplaced. And
well,
so Post Game Strong have their full roster today.
Well, no Need Banans for us, I suppose.
No, we don't need Banan.
All right, I'll go with that. Well, then it's the duo then, or a trio, if I can actually count for one moment.
That is what 3 is. Yes.
Yeah. It's a trio of Post Game Strong that has been together for the whole season. Then Recover Arceus and Dipsy before this point didn't use a sub and supposedly won't use a sub either. I wouldn't exactly say it really has helped them, but we're still awaiting that miraculous comeback after their victory against the Mind Games eSports that they had in week number 2. Hasn't happened and might not happen still, but this week is a week of potential surprises. Still nothing is online but Pride. So why not strike one over to these Scavenge eSports?
I'm really excited to see what Super can do. We saw we kind of saw what happens when you put a very good player in Grumpy down in a team low on confidence with Ramwrench. The overall potential is limited. It's like you're putting in a new glass ceiling. With Super, I feel like he was being held back by Ramwrench. He was trying to carry that squad on his shoulders. Scavenge is a good team. I mean, okay, they haven't made it to LAN, but they were this close. I'm excited to see him returning, and I feel like this might very well end up being almost like an interview of sorts to see whether he fits the squad. Let's find out, shall we? Rocking his classic Diestro as well. It's game on, and it is Scavenge in their native blue and Post Game Strong in their native orange. And immediately it's good pressure from Post Game Strong. We remember that man of the week performance from Arceus back in week number 2 when they looked like they might very well challenge for a LAN place. It didn't end up that way. And there's a nervy start as Frosty throws one over onto the post. And Keo now coming in, net by Dipsy. I'm sure that Post Game Strong will be much happier seeing Dipsy playing rather than a sub. It keeps their team together. They know what they're all about. The early pressure coming out from Scavenge eSport. But Post Game Strong holding on strong.
Yeah, Paul living up to their name. No crazy post plays, just like we've just seen in the games with Mind Games eSports against professional ball chasers. But it's sort of looking that the same scenario is still happening. The blue team, this time it's Scavenge eSports, are pressuring the oranges. Arceus really plays that ball well and doesn't put it straight on top or against the opposition player who's flying straight at him. Puts it to the side, beats that challenge, and gives Post Game Strong just a little bit of a moment of breath as they continue to try put the ball in the blue side of the field for a prolonged period of time, as it just doesn't want to go there. For whatever reason, it just doesn't want to stick there.
Frosty over to the side. Super looking to do fancy things. Misses the touch off the sidewall, though. And that was a good opportunity for Dipsy. It was a good opportunity for Arceus. With no third man there, there's no third opportunity to come. Super goes over one, and Super's got an empty net. He's got his first goal for Scavenge, and what was looking like an almost certain goal for Post Game Strong has been flipped on its head.
Frosty playing mind games with Rukava. Rukava was that third player that the Post Game Strong were missing on that attack. Challenged the Scavenge eSports coming out of their own half, but was struck by Frosty flipping to the side. He already stopped. He thought, man, Frosty's gonna clear it. Instead, the ball goes to Super and Rukava between a rock and a hard place. Would prefer not to be in that situation at all completely. Game Strong, though, immediately returned to the other side of the field. Better be careful, though, as Arceus playing a little bit too close to his teammate doesn't allow them to really spread out their wings. As the ball gets stuck together with all the players of Game Strong on the right flank.
So, out from the back then is Dipsy and Rukawa building, but Kyo, they're too slow out of defense, and he pounces. Super tries to meet it in the air, but doesn't quite, and Frosty forced to put it into his own corner. Rukawa off the backboard, Arceus back into the corner, and Kyo finally away. Frosty trying to look for Super on the far side. And unfortunately, my game has completely frozen. And as soon as it rejoins, I see that Arceus has scored. Jam, please tell me what happened.
It was a favorable bounce to Arceus. Kyo was considering the ball was going to go somewhere else, perhaps spike upwards, but no, it goes straight in favor of Arceus, and Kyo was too late for that challenge. Arceus, unlike some of the plays we've seen today, kept his cool and opened that opportunity.
Oh.
I honestly wish my game would have crashed, so I didn't have to see this straight after the previous goal. Dipsy tries to play it slow and smart. This is good. What happened afterwards wasn't that good, and Game Strong find themselves in a horrible situation of scoring an own goal. We've seen 3 on goals in the previous game. That was a mad affair from both professional ball chasers and, oh my goodness, Dipsy straight in front of the net. There isn't a slow moment today, our league, as any team is just trying to beat the record of crazy plays in front of the net, chances wasted, chances created as well. Game Strong would like to take that one back and try again.
Dipsy goes downfield. Easy save by Super. Arceus through the corner, and Kyo's going to block this one downfield. Frosty beaten out of the play, but finds Kyo, who fires wide. Super now gets it past Dipsy. Gets it past Arceus, but has too much pace, and it goes over to the other side. Kyo off the backboard. Frosty incoming, and Frosty misses his shot. That would have surely been 3-1. And it ends up being a hasty clearance with downfield Dipsy. Frosty now trying to build out from the back himself, but it's Rukawa inwards. Double commit, Super and Kyo, and Frosty ricochets it off his own backboard, and finally getting the clearance himself. It's a close game, but it seems to me like the defense of Scavenge is what's giving them the edge.
It's definitely helping them out, as well as Game Strong's unwillingness to commit many players up front. Their playstyle is not suited for keep 3 players in the blue half for as long as possible. It's more like, let's go on to the attack like a picnic of sorts, use all of our 3 players, and then retreat back. We can just stay there. They really should try that, although adjustment to that might not be favorable for them, and they might concede more as a result of overstaying their welcome. But it could really create something great on the field, knowing that Scavenge eSports are often coming this close to being beaten.
Frosty again real close to a 3rd goal for his team. Super over to the side. And Frosty's there lying in wait. Super looks to get the redirect just wide. Kyo fires that one in. The 3rd man in rotation finally coming through. And they finally, Jam, have their 3rd goal. That should be game over.
The redirect didn't happen, but the read was still good. Was Super is not at the top of the board anymore. Kyo overtook him only by 1 point, but really has been Super show so far. Scavenge eSports, it seems like they couldn't ask for a better substitute on their team. And again, I don't want to really diss Ragus too much, but he wasn't too resultant for his own team. His performances in a couple of games might have been that difference between Scavenge eSports making it in the top 4 and not getting through. So here, Super, well, it's a band-aid on a much bigger wound that is Scavenge eSports finishing 5th no matter what happens to this one. But bravo, Super. He left amidst problems with his old team, the Ram Ranch. And when he finally made his surprise comeback, I didn't know about this until just a day or 2 beforehand. Now that he has made his quick comeback, man, he still looks like he deserves a place in this league.
First interview stage is over. Well done, you're through to the shortlist. I would actually say as well, that's not as good as we've seen Super. Both of his goals were fortuitous, not particularly flashy. You could see that he was trying a few things here and there. And you'd understand that he's not going to be fully synced up with Scavenge just yet, but good signs, good signs. Also, to be fair, good signs for post-game Strong, though. So easily, another day, they could have scored a goal that could have seen them equalise or take the lead. They're not out of this series just yet, and Scavenge eSports, they really have to be on their toes, otherwise they could see themselves losing a game, maybe losing two. If it tumbles onwards, it could be the whole series. It all begins here, with the story continuing in game number 2.
I am looking at the post-game Strong and trying to figure out, is there enough a plan for this in this game for them? Will they just rely on momentary chance of Scavenge eSports perhaps making a mistake in post-game Strong just being in the right spot? Or is there more to post-game Strong's play so far? Arceus and Rukawa, two brothers, really should have a lot of understanding between them, but I still don't see those beautiful passing plays we've seen previously.
That's a presumption. Myself and my brother have literally zero in common, Jam. And to be fair, that might have further escalated to the point. Frosty, after missing so many times, finally gets a goal within the first minute. It's 1-0 to Scavenge.
And once again, it is Super setting up the play. He might not completely sort of made his ideal spot in Scavenge eSports, but he's definitely not being a nuisance. He's definitely not being a problem for his team. He is right there. He's filling out the third player spot. He's exactly where he needs to be on the field. And his teammates are not shocked to find Super making a touch or setting up a pass. No, he's right there as if they've been playing them for long periods of time. Super just looks great in front of the net, and again, this could be great if there would be follow-up, but post-game Strong still feel like they don't believe in their own staying power on the other side of the field. And Scavenge eSports only to hold on for maximum 3 shots, and then post-game Strong is just nowhere to be seen for the follow-ups.
I mean, that was 2 open nets, Jam. It really should be 1-0. And as things stand, Scavenge have now got an attacking wave of their own, although Arceus breaks that, furthering the clearance downfield. Frosty away. And goodness me, my game is not being nice. But Frosty is. He's putting it on a plate for Kyo, and the miss there allows Rukawa to bat that one away. Dipsy now throwing it up onto the wall. And Dipsy, inward, finds Rukawa, but Frosty with a huge interception gets that one away. And again, another certain goal on the plate, Jam, denied.
And there's an open opportunity. RCS 1B missing this one. Great initial chance by post-game Strong of trying to drag the ball straight to Rukawa, who was waiting for it in the midfield. And that push through allows post-game Strong not only to get in front of net, but also score. Chance used to its fullest. Man, yeah, post-game Strong wouldn't get that many of them, as they immediately go for the attack, but can't find something off the kickoff. Might find something on the other side of the field. Super does a little bit of a jig, but doesn't get his chances either. And post-game Strong, another bit of a surprise. They're tied, and this is getting interesting.
That was weak to Arceus, you gotta say. That was a brilliant block, and to finish it off as well. I seem to remember him having a very similar goal in week number 2 as well. So, oh, and that's a massive miss. In fact, is that a disconnection? It might have proved costly because Frosty's just been gifted a second.
No, Rukawa was still there. He was waiting for the ball to drop.
Oh,
he turned.
Yikes.
He drifted for it. He tried to position this car so that he immediately can go forward. But that, in a little bit of ballet, he got in one spot where his car didn't make contact with the ball. That stings for post-game Strong to concede off that one and then immediately score. Everything is forgiven. And post-game Strong back on track. Man, some of the best. Well, that clear was great. That follow-up on the ground was even better. Post-game Strong took a risk, and it paid off.
And it was all thanks to Frosty ultimately missing the clearance. Although I do agree it was a good initial clearance and a good ball downfield. Again, from Arceus starting to step up. He's been a bit MIA in the recent weeks. Rukawa throws it towards the net. It's a save from Kyo, but I'm pretty sure it was going wide. Dipsy. And Kyo there easily beats it. Oh, Arceus there, though. As soon as I dish out praise, he ends up completely undoing it, and Frosty's got a hat-trick, a very unlikely one.
Curses, curses, curses. The caster curses are coming in pretty strong.
Oh.
Just a small mistake in defense. Initial clear didn't work out, but that's okay. It's the follow-up that didn't work out. It's another mistake on the clear on the wall, and then Rukava wasn't quick enough of coming in through. By that point, obviously, the post-game strong have already used all of their players to make those clears. And here, maybe with a passing play, it's a little bit too awkward. Dipsy getting it to Arceus, but Arceus wasn't prepared for it. The angle is too awkward to make a proper touch. He needs to slow down. And then the ball just finds its way through the air back to the net of post-game strong, where, again, nobody has the chance to touch it, but Super, who
That's
even
amazing.
with the side of his car, can still put the ball straight in front of a net for Scavenge Esports to take.
That was a bit of a goal steal. I'm going to call it for what it is. That was going on target from Super, but his great work cannot be denied. Let's be positive. He gave him a tap-in. And so Super only gaining confidence here. And finally a 2-goal lead for Scavenge Esports now. Speaking of the man, Super gets it past 1. Kyo gets it past 2. But Dipsy on the return rotation brings that one back into the orange half. Dipsy looking to finish off the play. And that is a brilliant play at that. 4-3.
Post-game strong going into attack, getting the connection with their passes. And Dipsy,
What a redirect.
honestly, I wouldn't expect him to be in that position, but he is. And post-game strong are looking as strong as ever, finally quicker to the ball than their opposition, and Scavenge Esports just can't get there.
Yes, to Dipsy and Arceus. To Houston, we have a problem. It's 1v3, and there's no mercy shown from Super, who's going to destroy any sort of sportsmanship there. 5-3.
Yeah, something has definitely happened to the game on our end as well. Just some technical issues. We'll see if we can get the lobby back in action, but there's a big old fat question as to how we will proceed with that.
Oh, wow. I see that you and our broadcaster have dropped as well.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing you radio commentary right now. Well, let me tell you, the game has stopped, basically. We know that it's 3... Actually, what is the official wording on this? Does the game continue on? Because it's still going. We still have 3 Scavenge Esports players and 1 Game Strong player. I think they're just playing until the end of the clock now.
I think we'll be awaiting the ruling of that from our admins right now. There are basically 2 possibilities. Either this game ends as is, we take this score, we might completely replay the whole thing, or a much harder situation will be to try and start this game theoretically from the same time point as is, which will be slightly awkward to play. So
we've done that already this season, haven't we?
Yeah, man, This is something new, really. I have never seen this. On my end, the game sort of everyone disappeared from a field. I could still see the stuff happening on the ticker, but the game has completely sort of didn't appear for me. Yeah, it seemed like the server has gone into the void. Continuing with our Avengers theme, it seems like the server has been snapped. Half of the players and it stayed there. We seemingly have ended up here. Man, it is. And I'll be honest, I still haven't seen the movie, so I'm only making references based on so many memes and references I've seen on the internet. I'm sort of secondhand referencing, whatever that might be.
Well, the match has ended here, and it's ended 6-3. The final scoreline. We have yet to await the verdict from our administrators. And ultimately, it is down to them as to whether we call it 2-0 onto match point for Scavenge, or whether we play the game from when the disconnection happened, which was, what was it, minute and a half, 2 minutes away from the end?
Something to that regard. It has really thrown me completely off. And I'm afraid that might throw the postgame strong completely off. They were getting into the swing of things. And to have the whole thing just, being that rudely cut off, might not really dwell well for them. But we have confirmation, Arlik, the game number 2 will be played from scratch. the result that we saw on the screens and how the game ended 6-3 will not stand. We'll replay the whole thing from the very beginning. So I'll take that. I think that's the fairest one of them. I think, because it's we can't really start it from that point. So I get your point. Scavenge Esports would like to take that win for themselves. They were winning, but we unfortunately don't have the chance to restart it from very scratch. I've been listening to the League of Legends Mid-Season Invitational today. League of Legends and Riot apparently have an ability to save the game as it is and move it to a completely different server. They use the fancy terms like chrono switch and everything. But
pretty sure that's another game. There's Chrono Trigger. I'm thinking
Chrono Trigger, yeah. But yeah, basically they do have the technology, and it's amazing, knowing especially that
we have the technology. Well, listen, Epic. There you go. That's where you put your money.
Just Epic.
Just Epic. That's where you put your money.
Yeah, we do have the
fair as well. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, actually, we never have talked with the host about the whole Epic acquisition of Psyonix. They've mentioned it on the broadcast last week, but we sort of never get to talk about that one. But the players are back in, so why delay this any further? Let's have Scavenge Esports and post-game strong. A little bit of deja vu, since it's still the game number 2. The scoreline is still 1-0 in favor of Scavenge Esports in the series. But now the game number 2 might go completely the other way. Post-game strong shown they really can bring it to Scavenge. Can they continue on the same thing? Arceus playing smart. The post denies, and the clear comes faster than the follow-up.
I think at the end of all this, I'm just glad that this game's kind of for nothing. Either way, the time stone has been used, and we begin game 2 anew. Frosty, who of course had scored a hat-trick previously in that original version of events. Round the side, has a little touch back to Kyo, who was waiting in the wings. Super coming in, looking to do something fancy. Rukawa, no nonsense defending. Frosty now has a go, but Arceus is there as well.
Right now, the post-game strong are lacking a strong clear with a chance of a follow-up. They're also threatening. Their net is also being threatened by slow rotations back. One quick mismatch, especially if they're ganging up all in that corner, might just open up opportunity for Scavenge Esports, who are playing much more wider, have players in the midfield who can definitely pounce on a stray ball if it bounces in the middle.
Frosty picks up possession of the midfield and gets it over Dipsy. Doesn't get it past Rukawa, who's throwing up some good defensive efforts this time around. Still waiting to watch out for Arceus, who had a particularly good original game 2 himself. I feel like this is the only way we're going to get to game 5, actually, is to have a fake game, so to speak. Super there with a big save. Here comes the aforementioned Arceus into the corner. Frosty. Rukawa really fast there and almost so very close to getting rewarded there. The ball ricocheting off the post, and now Kyo. Oh, there's a came in off the backboard. When Kyo was lining up the double touch, chance spurned.
Oh, that was looking so very close for Super. The moment I saw one in the backboard, I thought, man, he will be dropping this one down. But you said it, a little bit of miscommunication and chance. Potential one goes begging. And post-game strong, all 3 players strong on the other side of the field, looking for the opportunities. I would like to see Rukawa play a little bit more aggressive. Many times he's rotating out and not putting any roadblocks for his opposition. It might work wonders if just to kill the ball on the other side of the field just for a moment. I suppose Game Strong still surviving the shots from these Scavenge Esports.
You say that, Rukawa's the one making the big saves at the moment. I'd keep him back. If he's having this good a game, another big save there in net. And a very different version of events then, as we pass half-time. 0 apiece. Despite some very, very good opportunities for both teams. Arceus, center, and what a great demo! What a brilliant, brilliant piece of ingenuity from Dipsy, who came in like a freight train, and Arceus' original shot tentacle. It actually ended up coming off Dipsy. I think that's a bit harsh. But either way, PGS have got themselves a lead.
Holy moly, to actually get a touch in that play, that is the ultimate goal steal. We've seen one previously. This is the ultimate one. But really, Dipsy needs to be praised. The initial shot was great by Arceus, but what Dipsy did open up the net for that goal to come in. And then that mess of the players to especially end with a poof explosion was salt, even more insult to the injury. Here though, post-game strong defense opened up just a little bit too much. Frosty only needed one small touch, and Kill was already there in the midfield, aimed and ready to take it.
You talk about Super being the fanciful player. Well, goodness me, that was a finish with a flourish. And this one, a little bit more simple, tickles the post. And once again, Arceus now forced into defensive efforts. A miss there as well. It could have been a redirect to net. Super. And Dipsy with a missed pinch. And that's just a flat-out miss. And once again, Rukawa. He's erected a wall. He's become Helm's Deep itself because no one is breaching his defenses whilst he's in the goal mouth. He remains upfield. Rukawa beaten to the ball by Kyo. Super gets it back into the centre. Frosty was on the same wavelength, but his shot goes wide. Dipsy now. Rukawa retreating, but the ball still going towards the blue half. Kyo up from the top of the cage, gets a second touch and gets it over everyone. And that is the lead for Scavenge.
That second touch was crucial. Initially, Rukawa was not beat, but even not seeing his opposition, Kyo just knows that to successfully put it past the opposition player, who most likely will be reading his approach, he only needs to give it a little nudge upward. And since Rukawa was too slow for that challenge, couldn't get an air in time to demolish Kyo or to steal the ball, Kyo just finishes up the play he has designed from the very beginning. And it starts to see post-game strong. All those saves by Rukawa for now, just for nothing. They need a second one, an equalizer stat.
Of course, for Scavenge eSports, they'll say, well, this is how things should have been. We're leading. And with 30 seconds remaining, they could be able to convert this into an actual point now for themselves in this series. Frosty on his own, up against Dipsy, and wow.
That is the control on the ground versus one. That's control in the air. To get a roll from this, I've seen many beautiful attempts, but that one was just sublime. Just keeping the control of the ball for such a long period of time, not going for the obvious plays, but sort of delaying the whole approach to trick out the post-game strong defenders out of their own side. I mean, Scavenge eSports deserved to win this one with the way they have been scoring. And the post-game strong, well, they had a redo. They had a second chance. And while the opportunity still presented themselves, that doesn't go in. Wait, that's on the line. I'm looking at it, and it's straight on. I don't think it's even landed. I was pretty far away from the action anyway. Scavenge eSports do take the game number one. Kyo this time is at the spearhead of the team. Super a little bit quieter. He has been really great in game number 2 as well. And his game number 1 too. But this one a little bit too slow. And again, I don't think Scavenge eSports will be too unhappy. The other have is one misplay with Kyo. Other than that, he's still a solid third player. I can't say that Super is dragging his team down in no way. No. So for Scavenge eSports, only one more remains while post-game strong. The chances are there, our league. It's just that so much hangs in the balance of post-game strong not allowing that many goals in. Their saving plays this game was great. 8 saves, that is tremendous. I'm quickly going to check. The player with the most amounts of saves is Refke, Kyo, and Pumpkin Digger. But then it's Rukawa and Arceus with 29 and 28 saves respectively. That's before the series. They know what it means to play from a defensive standpoint. They know that the goal shots will be coming in them thick and fast. But now they need to step up even higher, give it proverbial 110%. We're also not forgetting to make all their chances count on the other side of the field. Against Scavenge eSports, well, for post-game strong, this might be the last chance in this season to really prove that they know exactly how to play Rocket League. Let's see what happens in the last 5 minutes.
It was curious. It was like we had a proper break between games, actually, and the two most creative players from that first game, Super and Arceus, were cancelled out. Speaking of, I don't quite know how this one has trickled in. Arceus says, kind man, helped on there into the net, and within the first 10 seconds, PGS have a win. A win? A goal. They're not yet.
I mean, there's... Again, I don't want to diss Post Game Strong too much, but this might be the only way they can indeed win, by ending the match right here and right now. Frosty, for whatever reason, well, again, there are many reasons you can misplay the ball. I think he thought he had a chance. He would flare just a little bit. I'm going to flick it above the net. Here, though, no flicking needed. Another crucial miss while the player on the ground is patient and just watches the play. So many goals we've seen today that were scored specifically from those situations where there are so many nerves on the defense, someone just rushes in and tries to play it, while the attacker just stays in solid. Post Game Strong set up for the position but couldn't convert.
Right, so let's just imagine that never happened, I guess. Back to one apiece. And Dipsy is going to outwit the attackers there, but doesn't get the pinch that he desires. Super throws that one towards the net, and again, Rukawa strong in defense. Super passes it back to nobody in particular. Kyo finally picking up the play off to the backboard. Frosty tries to get the double touch. Down and cleared by post-game Strong. Back in there is Kyo now. Dipsy over to the side. He effectively only passes it out to Super. Before Rukawa here gets the ball back in, looks to get a double touch himself, misses. Arceus gets it past Frosty, but it also goes wide.
And look at Kyo, he was patient throughout this whole play, didn't overreact, didn't go for a double commit, and this allowed them, as the play was dying down, to immediately go on the ball as nobody else could get it off the line and clear it straight down the field for Scavenge Esports to start their own attack. Now he is in the attack, and look at that, the follow-ups are coming in strong. Kyo, Super, now Frosty a little bit missing a little bit. That was due to Kyo not putting it straight in the way of Frosty. And Scavenge Esports execute a pretty strong play with all three players participating. Now their defense is a little bit out. Post Game Strong also nowhere to be found. RCS, I think, looking for that boost, should be careful. But Scavenge Esports are not close enough, and they can't convert on the Post Game Strong, taking a lot of time bringing the ball to their own half. RCS, will he have time? Man, this is getting dangerous.
Up high in the skies, Rukawa, and he ends up completely fluffing the shot. Arceus once again into the corner. You can see Rukawa there going for the bump. Oh, it was Dipsy actually who's going for the bump. And Rukawa! Like an old lady with a shopping cart. She can't stop it in time quickly enough. But that's good. It's a goal.
We've seen some crazy stuff happening today, our league, and this just adds to the whole overall craziness. Post Game Strong, that bump also was pretty good.
Yeah.
If Super wasn't bumped, that was a goalie able to clear that through. Super, it was the player of whom the ball went straight into net. I think it was someone else from Scavenge Esports. One way or the other, Post Game Strong, is it for the first time in this series? Could be for the first time in the series, are leading. But we have not seen a team, underdog team, being able to hold on for that lead for the remainder of the match.
They led in the first 5 seconds, Jam.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Albeit very briefly, I understand, and so you'd be forgiven for forgetting that they did. But yes, certainly the longest amount of time now that they have led this series, and they've got 2 more minutes to hold out. Into the corner, Frosty away with a big clearance. Dipsy's going to try and pick this up, gets it past Super, gets it past Frosty. Doesn't get it past Kyo though, and Super, having picked up the 100 boost, looks to redirect and almost put in there by Frosty. That was a great play in the making. Well dealt with by Post Game Strong, who on the counter-attack only have Super in the way. But thankfully for Scavenge, that was enough.
Shots, man, those shots from Scavenge Esports. It takes Post Game Strong a lot of time to just bring the ball through. For Scavenge Esports, they make one pass, they find a player to shoot in front of a net, and it's always threatening the side of Post Game Strong, and they need to use goalies sitting deep because the shots are always on target. They do not know how to miss. Scavenge Esports just want to go, well, currently they're losing, so right now a clean sweep might not be the possibility for them. Post Game Strong holding on. Dipsy, Rukawa, and Arceus all committing, all adding up to the overall saves and holding on together as a team.
Off the back ball once again, there's 2 players in, and it still goes wide. Keo and Frosty combining their efforts to no avail. Super. And Dipsy in battle with each other. Dipsy now left to his own possession, gets it past both Frosty and Keo, though also leaves the ball entirely to Super. That was a bit of a wild clearance from Rukawa. And Arceus, he doesn't beat it to Frosty. Keo. Again, Dipsy was there. Rukawa misses his touch again. The amount of aerials that he misses, he actually does well to clean up though. Gets it to the other side of the wall, but Super was there. Both of them missing the ball, and it loiters around as the time tricked down. Frosty up high. Keo could put pain to PGS getting a win for themselves. Nobody really knows what they're doing, and Rukawa's offered a free net. 3-1, and Post-Game Strong have taken the game.
Holy moly, that's not something I would have expected for Post-Game Strong, especially after that game number 2 had to be replayed. I thought, man, the wind out of their sails would be gone. Instead, Post-Game Strong hold on. That's the only way I can explain this. Starting off this match with a goal, then getting into the lead and holding on to it until the last possible moments. Cabbage Esports were bringing the players through, but there was always at least one last member of Post-Game Strong sitting in the net, holding on out. And since Scavenge just couldn't find an answer, their passing plays were getting great. You were getting excited about Scavenge Esports bringing out all these passing plays in the air, on the ground. It wasn't enough.
No.
And for the first time in a really long while, actually, I would be interested to see when was the last time that the Post-Game Strong
week 2.
Must
Gotta
be
week 2.
So they have 4 games coming into this one. Oh, no, actually 3 games coming into this one. They are at the bottom of the scoreboard. So yes, indeed. Last time they won a game and consecutively won a series was week number 2 versus the Mind Games Esports. And coming back into this one, this is their this is
their first game win in 5 weeks.
This is crazy, and this could be a turning point as well. We are still holding on, fingers crossed, for game number 5. I didn't expect this series to be that game, but it might as well work. And I do believe this is the 3rd game in a row that ends up in a 3-1 scoreline. Just this time, it's for a different team. Just keeping up with similar results, but let's see who will take this one. Post-Game Strong. They're still not playing from a position of strength. They're playing from a position, we're gonna really do a couple of surgical attacks and then hold on for as long as possible. They are able to do both, but that playstyle is oh so dangerous.
So, game number 4. We've not been able to say that often this season. I certainly hope we do get to see game number 5, though. That would be super exciting. It's all down to Post-Game Strong now to continue the momentum. Frosty to the corner. Keo inwards, gets the backboard. Frosty gets the second touch, but also goes wildly wide. Arceus downfield. Frosty's picked up the 100 boost and starts off a counter-attack here. Angling his car, tries to get it past Rukawa, but Rukawa held strong. Keo. Here comes Super now. Gets the block on Rukawa's clearance, but it ends up with Arceus, who goes downfield. And that was a great attempt to get a little doink over the rest of the defense. Didn't quite come out, but really, really good, confident showing from Post-Game Strong here in the first minute.
Yeah, that actually would have worked out for them. They sent the ball to the corner, from which they could also boom it again, and to the middle of the field if someone would be following that up. But that attack broke through. But the idea was there, and that was pretty lovely. They are trying to work with each other, trying to move the ball around. The moment they went into the attack, you saw 2 players trying to sort of conspire in between each other. And as they're trying to kill the ball in front of the net, this could actually bring them chances. Cabbage Esports are in one big bunch trying to clear the ball. They still have the more power, more technique to being able to work with the ball quickly enough. But the Post-Game Strong, they have the chance to use that mishmash of players to move the ball around as they like, and maybe find a chink in the armor of Cabbage Esports.
They were being so bold as to boost steal as well. So Post-Game Strong switching up their natural game, and it's working for them. Scavenge, you can tell they're a little bit more trepidatious about what to happen. Where should they go from here? And as we head towards half-time, it shows in the scoreline. Still 0-0. Dipsy away. Arceus. That one going wide. Up high, it's going to be Kyo. Dipsy picks up possession. He sees Rukawa. The ball flying towards the far corner. Kyo missing his touch. Dipsy. And Steam was super with the save.
I mean, could be steam powered, I suppose. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Postgame Strong right now. They seemingly made that a couple of those passing plays and said, "Man, I really like that. Let's continue on doing that. Let's move the ball in between us." And it is threatening the net of Scavenge Esports. Postgame Strong are looking dangerous on the other side of the field. But their opportunities are not wasted as much as just they're being used and stopped by Scavenge Esports. So out of that, a perfectly good goal might appear. Especially since Scavenge Esports are not without their own faults and are sometimes playing a little bit too unorganized, perhaps even. Let's see where this attack will lead Dips and the rest of the post game. Strong might be on target.
Oh,
oh no!
Oh, no!
So aggressive on that ball and yet can get it through. Kyo's save was miraculous, but then out of nowhere comes Rukawa and yes.
Feels bad, man, when it counts. A miss. And thankfully he rotated back quickly enough to put in a good save as well. The ball flying down once again into the blue half, and that's the finish they were looking for. Dipsy 1-0 PGS does game 508.
From the middle of the field actually, and not catching the ball at his apex. The ball was pretty low. I don't think Scavenge Esports expected Dipsy to go for this, but Dipsy, in the moment of heavenly inspiration, said, "I'm going to follow that ball until the end of the road." In order to lead him straight on target. Another passing play. Dipsy, please score. Dipsy will score, and those passing plays were missing since week number 2. And I'm glad we're seeing the post-game Strong, even if it's too late in the season. What they're currently doing to Scavenge Esports is what I see We8 and professional ball chasers do to their opponents, passing plays, leaving their opposition in the dust.
I think we've used the time stone a little bit more than we expected. This is week 2. But at the same time, I've noticed that Super's gone very quiet, Jam. And is that a hat-trick for Dipsy in the space of 30 seconds, Jam? This game has been taken by the horns. And Dipsy is a proud, confident, and very exciting rider.
Holy moly, post-game Strong. Good thing that Need Banan couldn't play today, it seems, because Dipsy is currently playing the hero on both sides of the field. Goals, saves. He does it all. With the help of Rukawa, post-game Strong continue on to extend the lead. 3-0, I would say it's a great scoreline. I'm just a little bit too worried for post-game Strong. With the way the Scavengers have been playing, Frosty has been dead in the water. Super, we mentioned him. Also, after the wondrous plays of game number 1 and game number 2, he has been like nowhere to be seen. He's still trying to do something, but Kyo can carry this on his own. And Scavenge Esports lost some sort of that magical ingredient. Maybe they're out of magic powder, in which case post-game Strong might give us the biggest upset of this week.
Onto the backboard, easily dealt with by Arceus. Frosty attempted to make the read, he didn't. And it's now down to Dipsy and Rukawa upfield to just keep the ball in their half. We got a game of Rocket League, folks. We're heading to game number 5.
Wow.
Amazing. First time this season is finally happening.
It wasn't this series I was expecting this in, but it only makes it so much sweeter. And we have an opportunity for a second one because, folks, it's not the last series of the day. We are this excited, but there's still another one, in a way, even more exciting one. But that's all later because post-game Strong just took their opposition Scavenge Esports, teams that are located 5th and 8th in the league standings right now. It's currently all going upside down and topsy-turvy. Post-game Strong, where have they been? Why? So many questions I have in the post-game Strong. The main one being, if you could play like this all this time, why didn't you? They could. It's so many games. It's just that playstyle was never to be seen. They didn't even go for the passing plays. But here, the moment they start doing it, they shouldn't stop. Like, go with it to the bank, go with it until the end of game number 5. And really, Arlik, right now, I am waiting. I am in a post-game strong fan club. Sign me up. I want to see them win.
It's game number 5. Let's do it, folks. I am genuinely at a loss as to which way this one will go. If Super turns up, then it's all for Scavenge to lose. And so far, it looks pretty good for them. 1-0 in the first 15 seconds.
All right. This is just a small misstep. Dipsy finds himself in the spot where he can really affect the play. Kilo dropping it down to Frosty, and Dipsy is beat. He's on the ground. He's under the ball. And since he didn't even try to challenge it, that drive out of the net was completely wasted.
So it's there's some little mishaps in the midfield there from post-game strong, getting a little bit too congested. But Arceus finally gets the big clearance that they were looking for. Dipsy up high, gets a redirect. Arceus has got a net to open for and shoot for. Amazing work from Dipsy. 1-1.
I can't believe Arceus actually stayed with this one. Frosty, does he do a jump? No, Frosty doesn't do a jump. It's just Arceus continually putting his car in a way that will allow the ball to bounce forward. Not to the side, not anywhere. Enough power as well. Since he flipped himself upside down, that gives that ball a lot more energy rather than hitting with the other side of the car. Arceus with a smart place, and post-game strong straight back into this one. And another passing play straight out the defense starts. When you're able to move the ball around the field, both an attack and a defense as a team, that is such a great boon. You are able to move the ball faster, out of the reach of your opponents, and results will immediately show themselves. And knowing that post-game strong do the passes both in defense and the attack, it's a new and improved post-game strong.
And here is the man of the moment once again. Dipsy round the corner, sees Rukawa, and Rukawa did come in, but Frosty got there first. Getting out for his troubles on the wall by Arceus. Kyo goes down, and Rukawa and Super both miss opportunities to both clear and shoot. Downfield, it ends up back in the blue half. Frosty misses his touch, but Kyo doesn't, so the counter-attack once again on. And into the danger zone we go, but a double commit. We'll see Dipsy get this one away a little bit haphazardly to the side, but he then follows that up with a more decent clearance. Here comes Frosty then, gets it over one, doesn't get it past Rukawa. Infield, Arceus scores 2-1!
Post-game strong continue on the same vein, bringing the ball in between the plays, Rukawa to Arceus, and I'm slightly surprised Super didn't cover the left flank. It was looking like the ball was gonna go to the left. He misread that play. And Super right now really needs to step up of Scavenge eSports. He was looking so great in games number 1 and number 2. Where is that? Oh my goodness, Arceus is a bully, and he bullies this goal all the way through from the kickoff after Kyo and who else but Super commit hard on the ball, leaving Frosty to fight for himself. And Arceus did fight for that ball. 3-1. Our league, this is unbelievable what's currently happening, and yet post-game strong are currently looking that they will reverse sweep their opposition, Scavenge eSports.
It's not just game 5, it's a full-on reverse sweep in the making. And Scavenge have got to do something. Super. Out to the middle. Dipsy straight back to sender. And here he comes once again. The ball flat out to Frosty, who loops it over Arceus. But there at the return is Dipsy. Again, I'm mistakenly calling him Dipsy Love, but I really do love what I'm seeing from this player today. So close to a goal for Kyo there to bring it back to 1 goal difference. No cigar. Rukawa gets it over Frosty, that gets bumped back. Arceus gets a touch, and Dipsy forced into the retreat. Arceus up high, and a big save from Rukawa. He's been that all series long. Scavenge find no way through once again.
It's getting incredibly close for post-game strong, but with all the players playing the right roles, making great saves, or just getting lucky saves as well, That minute has passed, and Scavenge eSports still didn't find anything, while on the other side of the field, Postgame Strong once again find themselves behind the enemy lines. It's Q and Super again with their double commit that left them behind those lines, and a shot by RTS is on target. This is getting out of reach of Scavenge eSports, our league, and I don't think they will be getting this at all. This needs to be a completely another breakdown for Postgame Strong, but they've improved in almost all the ways on the field. Rukawa with a backflip in front of the net, that happens a lot. You are eagerly trying to get to the ball. Unfortunately, all the boost, but I want to flip. Nah, not this time. One back for Scavenge eSports. But two more, with the way that Postgame Strong has been doing, the remaining less than 2 minutes of this matchup will be incredible.
We sent out a search party for Super, and he was found, and he managed to find the striker as well. Dipsy over one. Keo off the backboard. The ball rides the wall, and Arceus, that's an unfavourable touch for Postgame Strong, but yes. Again, Rukawa deals with it well, and Arceus causing all sorts of troubles. We talk about search parties for Super. He went MIA after week number 2, but this guy's got 4 goals, and he's looking for more, once again causing trouble, as the ball loiters around right outside the area, and it requires Frosty to put the ball onto his own backboard to make the clearance. Here comes Rukawa. Super there now. And again, so much congestion in this Scavenge defense. They don't know where to go. They don't know where their next clearance is going to come. Dipsy gets the redirect, and that's a brilliant goal, 5-2.
One of the reasons why it's so congested in the defense of Scavenge eSports is the fact that the Postgame Strong started doing the short rotations. And I don't have enough praise in me to say what Dipsy has just done. That is perfect. That is inspired. The touches they have been making, the attacks they have been going for, the things that's really working out for them, they are currently flying on the wings. Not sure if they drank Red Bull or anything, but what Postgame Strong are currently showing is they're punching way above their weight, but man, is it looking good. It's not down to Scavenge eSports making some horrible mistakes. It's not what gave us the 12-1 scorelines. No, it is the Postgame Strong just making a show. Everything's working out for them.
And let's be fair, this was a team that was absolutely humiliated last week. There's no other word for it. They looked helpless. They looked hapless. They looked like they just weren't going to be a part of this league. But they have turned up today. They have dealt with technical issues. And they have just reverse swept Scavenge eSports to finish P6 in the table. Unbelievable effort. Outstanding performance. And admittedly, we do have one more series to come. We're going to be diving into that almost straight away. Dipsy has got to be up there for Man of the Week immediately after that performance. What a turnaround, and it all came through him.
Arches and Dipsy, both of them. Dipsy with his hat trick in game number 4, because that game was going 0-0 for a really long period of time, and all of a sudden Dipsy won 2 and 3, and the game is out of reach of Scavenge eSports. And in game number 5, it has also gone crazy. But as you said, Erlich, I would like to dwell on this game for a little bit longer, because it has been that great.
I think the admins don't want us to, sadly. But I mean, just a quick word.
It's a shame, because this has been definitely the biggest surprise of the week. One of the biggest surprise of the whole season as well. Just like when Postgame Strong won against Mind Games in week number 2, that game we keep still on referring to. This was the surprise of even bigger caliber, because Mind Games have finished the season at the bottom of the leaderboard. Scavenge eSports missed the LAN only by the fact that they've just lost a little bit more games than their opposition.
And you can see why.
Yeah, they actually now knowing the fact that they've lost the series, they wouldn't have a chance either way, because they're now 3-4, while the Backflip Boys and Spectre are 4-3. So their dreams have been killed. But for Postgame Strong, man, they have so much potential. Is just that if they turn that potential on for the next season, more than for 2 games, then better beware, because Postgame Strong can even threaten the teams for a playoff spot.
That definitely gives them a headache, doesn't it? From okay, who are we going to replace on this team for next season, to but do we want to stay together? Of course, that's postseason stuff. Let's focus on the here and now. It is our final match of league play, and it's a big one. WeIte versus Professional Ball Chasers. The winner of this wins the league, and we have a little graphic showing the stats of these guys going into this particular matchup. So this isn't counting, of course, their previous performances. But let's take a little look at it, Jam. What can we pick out? To me, at least, it seems WeIte a much more even team. Professional Ball Chasers, a lot comes through Why Not Party, but also equally, you can expect any of them to score on any given occasion.
Man, it is a battle of the heavyweights. That's the only way to go about it. First of all, just a quick note. We've seen all of these players on the field already. Why Not Party, KK, and Phoenix for Professional Ball Chasers. Chuvas, Memphippi, and Spring for WeIte. And I want to just throw a couple of stat points for you. It is, of course, so I'm going to just straight at you. Chuvas, 32 goals. And during the whole season, this is before this week has started, so he has already improved his stat line.
Yep.
His teammate Memphippi, 51 points. He has been the assister for Chuvas, and really the Chuvas has been on the forefront. Memphippi and Spring have been supporting him with the shots, but also they have been putting on some efforts of their own because they have 24 and 21 goals respectively. But then you look at their average stats, and those are mind-blowing as well. Why don't you take this, our league? Because the goals per game, the saves per game, the shots per game, those stats were padded during the last 2 weeks, but those are some crazy numbers.
It's pretty exceptional to think. I mean, just looking at them just in general, I feel like, and you kind of get this impression from the games as well, Professional Ball Chasers create less opportunities for themselves, but they score more of the opportunities that they present for themselves. Whereas WeIte, it's more of a case of just keep on hammering the ball at the net, and just by proxy of unrelenting pressure, they score the goals. It is going to be a fascinating clash, I think, of those two offensive methodologies, which is really going to be the turn of balance for either of these squads. I honestly can't pick a winner between the two of them. I think it's who's turned up on the day. I feel like if there is any advantage, it would be to Professional Ball Chasers, given that Chuvas, remember, has had to travel to a friend's house to be able to play this game. Boy, are we glad that he has, though. The match of league play begins here with Professional Ball Chasers in the blue and WeIte in the orange, and already a on target from KK ricochets off the crossbar. Doesn't quite go in. And Why Not Party going to bring this one round. Phoenix hanging on the backboard. Early survival mode for WeIte, although Memphippi now taking possession and taking the ball out of harm's way.
Oh my goodness, our league. This has finally started. The game of two titans. And Why Not Party just saves a surefire goal. Chuvas shooting on an empty net, but enough touch by Why Not Party, the top goal scorer of the his series against Mind Games eSports. Right now playing dangerously in front of that. Memphippi just takes it and walks in. Aggression this time works out for the WeIte squad. And -1 defender also helped them. I'm not sure what KK was thinking, but he thought the wrong thing. We had to open up the scoring. And you said, our league, you're not sure who you're going to go for. You know what? With the way that the Professional Ball Chasers have been playing today, yes, they won their series, but we're making mistakes. I think WeIte were almost spotless, and straight off the kickoff, was this a Spring special? Did they go? No, they didn't go for that one. Just was staying back in the attack. Yep, it worked out pretty well. Chuvas to Memphippi on the ground. And I'm afraid that this might snowball. We've never seen Professional Ball Chasers being sort of shown to the door like that, like WeIte and Professional Ball Chasers were doing. Man, I'm just going to sit here and watch the game.
Okay, I guess I'll talk then. And actually, to be fair, that was all initiated from that mistake from Why Not Party, that all creating force, that all scoring force. It was a defensive error. Real bizarre. Real bizarre. Spring combines with Chuvas. But stopped in its tracks by Phoenix. Why not Party now? And Phoenix finally away. KK gets it over Minfipai. Chuvas is back there. Chuvas misses. Spring goes high. Once again, the ball thrown back into the blue half. This is great pressure from Weite. And in the battle of the two methodologies, you can tell that this unrelenting pressure is really starting to suffocate the creative juices of professional ball chasers. It's no good scoring goals if you don't have any opportunities to.
Yeah, well, let's see if professional ball chasers can finally do something with the first chance coming in. I'm not sure why Phoenix and KK both went for that one. Previously, both of these teams were giving so much time on the field. They're being able to start their attacks well, and the space that has been available for them, which is giving them the opportunity of almost playing with the ball up front, constantly in the attacking position to redirect for shots because the mistakes were coming and the poor clears, just the passes, were able to cut up open the defense so easily. It's not so easy of a task, and if professional ball chasers all of a sudden find themselves in a situation where oh yeah, a little bit of pressure can't allow us to actually move around, we'll be suffocated. And we might be in a really horrible spot over here. Only first game. We might see the full five-game affair on here. But right now, professional ball chasers are not exactly... They're looking like they're aggressively trying to get this game under their control. But we are keeping cool, calm, and collected and not giving them a chance.
Big save by Phoenix. Although certainly it has calmed down just a little bit. Phoenix sees KK, but Chuvas sees the play developing and cuts it out. Not only that, he creates another opportunity for Minfipai, who runs straight into the front bumper of Why Not Party. And now another counter-attack is initiated by the professional ball chasers, though Chuvas again cuts it out. Say what you will about their offense, but Weite's defense has been just as important in this game number one. Stopping every single attempt here. Why Not Party over to the corner. Is there a third coming in? No, again, so alive to all of these various plays developing are Weite, and it means that with just over a minute left, it still remains 2-0.
Problems for ball chasers arise as we saw them making mistakes in the defense, but still being strong in the offense. This allowed them to keep the control on the game and just stick out, outplay their more weaker opponents. But since their defense is still somewhat in the same level, it has improved just a little bit, but their attack is nowhere to be seen. Weite are using all of these opportunities, or using the lack of opportunities from a professional ball chaser side. That clear was perfect. Minfipai is on the horse, already has his hat trick, and Why Not Party and the rest of the professional ball chasers will need to scratch their heads really hard for a game number 2.
That was demonstration in taking advantage when a team gets frustrated. All three players far too far up, not rotating well. KK with another shot on target. But yeah, it's almost like not being afforded the opportunity to have those shots is completely undoing the ball chasers, and they're being forced into a much more aggressive standpoint. Spring almost puts number 4 Weite's way, before finally this clearance comes through. Why Not Party gets it over Minfipai, but again the rotation's coming in strong for Weite, and Spring's there to deal with it. Phoenix gets a little bit of play, almost ends up with a goal. But well. Chuvas with a final attempt on target. Why Not Party clears. But that is problems if you are a professional ball chasers fan. Minfipai brings it to the side. It finally touches the ground. And they have been shut out in game number 1, 3-0.
How the tables have turned. Professional ball chasers, for their first time in this whole season, that has been 19 games, finally lose their first one. And this, again, this doesn't decide much in the end. Both teams have already qualified. But this once again comes to the fact, those two teams coming into the finals in 2 weeks' time in LAN environment, this might still come to haunt them. This might show the real quality of Weite against professional ball chasers. And right now, the comparison is not looking nice. Professional ball chasers they have been the hunters this whole time. winning every single game in clean sweeps, not dropping anything, dropping goals, but it obviously happens. They were always been the aggressors, but now they're being out-aggressed, out-hunted on a field, and all of a sudden it looks like professional ball chasers. What's the big deal? They have been a big deal right up until this point when they met Weite.
How about going back to that game number 3 between Ball Chasers and Mind Games? I said, what if that has an effect on them? Their defense has looked so-so today. It's looked sloppy. And perhaps in an effort they've to try and sort it out, they've potentially overcompensated. Something is not up. But it fascinates me nonetheless. And we head into game 2 with perhaps even more intrigue than before. Can professional ball chasers pick up a game for themselves? Can they pick up a goal? That's their first port of call. They've actually got to score on Weite.
It is a big task, it seems, right now, since even getting out of their own half was the problem for professional ball chasers, let alone score on the other side of the field. Every single time they found themselves in attack, usually they were met, but almost 3 players of Weite straight up there and waiting for any opportunities. As here, they really need to be careful, almost taking their sweet time. Phoenix loses the control of his car, loses the ball, and the passing play immediately sets up. Weite, with a series of mistakes, keep the ball alive in the blue side of the field. But even if they're making mistakes, it also doesn't look like the professional ball chasers are being able to use those.
They're doubling up on one side, I noticed. And so whenever the ball ricochets over to the other side of the pitch, Weite have a player over there ready to continue a counter-attack. Off the crossbar from Minfipai. Goal for Spring.
Of course, how else would that happen? Weite are putting the players up front. Spring knows exactly what he's going for. If that hits off the backboard, he is aimed for that one. If that goes in the 50-50 spiking upwards, he already is there and will continue the attack. Just that Weite start off the run and finish up that run, while a professional ball chaser is still trying to recover from that attack and being nowhere to be found. Too quick for professional ball chasers are Weite in all spaces on the play. It's just looking like professional ball chasers, the wind has been knocked out of them. And they really don't want to see that against their biggest opponents in the league.
I mean, I've just been looking at Why Not Party. He's whiffing in the air. He's looking completely just not disinterested, but he looks uninterested in trying to go for those plays. And once again, a brilliant block from Minfipai. Another brilliant block from Chuvas. Sees Spring with his second. And this is genuinely worrying now. It's not just a case of Weite look good. It's a case of professional ball chasers are plain looking bad.
Yeah, it's not looking like a team that can't keep up with their opposition. They're this much slower. It, at least on paper, it should have been. We've seen how fast professional ball chasers can play, how their ideas of moving around the field really stumbles their opposition. But it's really not working. Their pass, man, it just, again, it's look forced. They say, we're gonna do this passing play, we're gonna do this passing play. That falls off their cars. Whereas then the sack of bricks, really, and professional ball chasers, their chances no longer looking shiny and new, and even KK can get it from that position. And when they finally break the ball through all the defenders, Weite already in the rotation back in. There's also a player waiting in the right spot on the net. Alarm bells are ringing in the heads of professional ball chasers right now.
It's bizarre. It really is. They look like a totally different team. And in the worst way, Minfipai there, his shot ricocheting off the post, could so easily have been yet again 3-0. Ball remaining in the orange half for now, at least. A big clearance from Spring. Chuvas again prevents Why Not Party from setting up. Again, a miss from Why Not Party. If there is one player who I'm like, what's going on with them, it would be him. He looks like a shadow of his former self.
They really need him. One of the top goal scorers for his team really showing up today. Not in this series, though. And they don't only need him to score, they also need... What was that? Because professional ball chasers, all right, Why Not Party needs to step up as well. Phoenix and Why Not Party completely misplay between each other. I'm not sure what the call-out was, but the ball was left for the taking, and Spring, who has been really on fire for WIAT today, will not say no to a freebie.
Minfitby with a hat-trick in game number 1. Spring with a hat-trick in game number 2. That's a pretty bad omen for professional ball chasers, given that Chuvas is yet to join the hat-trick club. KK down from the side. Surely at this point, just a goal would be something to work from. KK, met by both Chuvas and Minfitby, working together, pooling their efforts. Phoenix chases back to Minfitby, who almost gets the goal himself. Spring instead has got number 4.
Why not take a Spring? That's not the first time he's playing as a clean-up crew, looking for the opportunity set up by his teammates. And Chuvas, he is usually the top scorer. Chuvas is sitting back because he knows that the Spring is currently getting in all the right positions, all the right spots. While the same can be said for professional ball chasers. Will this drop down? Oh, this Spring was so close to dropping it down from a second touch, just putting it straight on the line and into that tough angle.
There we go.
First shot by Why Not Party. The only issue is that wasn't the goal, and we are down to our final minute. And look who's attacking. It's Minfitby, and this is getting out of hand.
I was saying, there we go, because that's the Why Not Party I remember. It was a good save. And then that happens. And professional ball chasers. Well, how many different analogies and superlatives can we use at this point? It's red alert. And again, still, they have yet to score a goal. And they still can't. Why Not Party just saved Phoenix's goal that was going in. Unbelievable. I know that it might not have, ended up as a reverse sweep in this game. Goodness knows they would have had to score 4 more times. It would have been something. Wow, this is not what we were expecting, Jam. This was not what we were expecting at all. And professional ball chasers, from looking so confident, whether that Mind Games series has ended up having an adverse effect, I do not know. But we find ourselves on the precipice of them being 3-0 swept by WIAT.
This is something strange, really, and we're seeing professional ball chasers. When they're playing their clean game, and we know exactly how cleanly they can play, they can outwit their opposition. But right now, it feels like professional ball chasers are dropping so many touches that shouldn't have been dropped, misplaying the ball, while WIAT, on the other hand of the field, are perfect, spotless. Every single touch that they're making is calculated, is thought through, and is perfectly executed as well. So no extra attempts at the ball, no unnecessary ball chasing. No, WIAT are still have a plan executed to a T, and that works out. It has been working out for them for a whole season long. And against ball chasers who currently can't really pick themselves up from the floor, it's working especially well. But that difference made by this perfect play, mistakes, is jarring, and these score lines might even get even more out of hand.
So we've just got a slight delay whilst we change serve for maintenance, not out of request for the player, and that's probably a big reprieve for professional ball chasers who can sit down and just try and figure out what's going on. I find the shot count fascinating. I know that they lost a midfield battle, which is probably what accentuates the stats a little bit. But it's kind of what I was expecting as well. Professional ball chasers, they get their goals because of good opportunities fashioned. Was the reason that those opportunities were good in the first place not because of their individual skill, but more because other players or other teams were allowing them the space to do it? Whereas WIAT have found their success through forcing the play. I mean, I feel like I'm going with my initial prediction as opposed to being surprised that this is the way it's going. But it kind of serves as true because every player on professional ball chasers had only one shot each. One shot, of which the best opportunity was Why Not Party, and that was saved.
I will agree with you, actually. It does look like it's just like with the case of the Backflip Boys, who we saw start the season with a 3-0, sitting at the, actually at the very least, a 2-0, looking a 3-1. Let's just go with that. By the end of week number 3, they were 3-1, sitting at the top of the leaderboard. And we thought, man, this is the team that really will stick it to professional ball chasers in WeIte. But it also was the case of the Backflip Boys playing against the weaker teams at the start. They've swept Mind Games, Post Game Strong, Ram Ranch, and by the end of the season, a little bit surprising, but Spectre as well. But Spectre has started pretty slow. That was the week 1 matchup, Backflip Boys versus Spectre. And they also fell down pretty hard by the end of it. So that might as well be it. Professional ball chasers, you saw them. Most likely, you saw them making mistakes in the previous weeks. You just never saw them. Those mistakes were never punished. We saw, all right, there's a mistake. Oh, okay, it wasn't used. We put attention on the team that didn't use the opportunity rather than the team that was making the mistake. So, man, it is heartbreaking to see, because all this season long we've seen KK, Phoenix, and Why Not Party just doing some crazy plays. I've been loving what I've been seeing from them. And yet, here, we need another reverse sweep our league. And they need, well, all the luck and all the fate of the world in their hands.
There we go.
Starts it off pretty strong. A couple of mistakes by WeIte on clear. Spring didn't exactly boom its pass down. KK is still on there. And that shot straight down the waterfall gives Phoenix the first goal for the professional ball chasers. Not just in this game, in the series as a whole.
It's a start. And you know what they did well? I know you can talk about Spring's mistaken defense, but KK got there first to offer an opportunity for Phoenix, who, speaking of, big save at the other end of the pitch, and now looking to start things off again. Perhaps putting Why Not Party into a more reserved role. Spring, out from the back, Why Not Party again misses a touch from the wall in the air. Phoenix was looking to be sussed out, but did really well, held his...
Phoenix made himself look as big as possible. Sorry, our league. He had an opportunity to either rush for it or sort of wiggle his way back to the net. Instead, he just stopped, turned sideways, and had so much space to work with, so much width of the car, that he blocked that dribbling opportunity. Well played by him.
Phoenix is rising from the ashes here, and KK almost gets one through as well if it for Mimfipai. Phoenix stops the ball from going into the blue half. And here comes KK, open net and a big save for Spring.
The whole net for KK to shoot at. I think he tried to outplay Spring with Mind Games. Oh, another open opportunity. That doesn't really go on the target. Still well played by them, and Spring just stays in strong. A goal scorer for his team, but also a savior. Quick counterattack on the other side of the field. Won't be bringing anything for Riga just yet. Professional ball chasers do not need to linger in their defense. As fast as they need to bring that ball out of their own half as fast as humanly possible.
I feel like they're looking to play WeIte at their own game. They're playing a lot faster. It's like they're not so much caring about how the passes or how the goals go in. Just need to get more opportunities on target and actually put WeIte under a bit of pressure. Why Not Party really showing that off here. We Not Party round the corner, KK in there, but kept on mashing against the backboard and it flew across the goal mouth. Chuvas away. Why Not Party once again goes in field, but that forces KK onto the defensive because it was a straight pass to WeIte. Spring goes in field himself. Mimfipai met by Phoenix, who's having a massive game so far.
Oh, it is looking lovely and so much different for professional ball chasers. And now it's WeIte, whose defense is being tested. Yes, previously they've already dropped one game. That was a pretty surprising one. Gotten from them by Spectre in week number 5. And here, just like professional ball chasers, defense suddenly fell apart or started showing lots of cracks. It's WeIte that, after a prolonged period of pressure, are no longer looking like the unbeaten gods they have been all day so far.
They scored early, and they've got 2 more minutes to survive. Mimfipai misses his touch, as does Spring. KK afforded the light clearance. Not Party. Oh, that is super unfortunate. unfortunate, but you know what? For all of the mess-ups, for all of the mishaps that he's had, you can't help but feel that, given the season he's had, he deserved a little bit of luck. 2-0 Pro Ball Chasers.
I said professional ball chasers need all the luck they can get, and why not Party completely messes up his play in the midfield. But since White are not attacking him, I'm assuming expecting a touch from him, not seeing the need to waste any boost or positioning on the field, he then not only recovers, controls with the ball, but also gets a miraculous. That was a shot not on target, and only by the miracle of Memphis rotating back into the net, they get that one. I get a second one. Is KK good with dribbles? Hell yeah, he is, but the woodwork denies him. Follow-up is still strong, and professional ball chasers. Arlik, I'm looking back at the notes for our previous game between Scavenge eSports and Postgame Strong, and I'm starting to see a pattern.
3-0 after being shut out in games 1 and 2. How bizarre. How much did that little break for the server going down affect this team? Because they look a completely different prospect. In Fipai with the save now. And like you said, Jam, it's all on White now. Under pressure for so long. But Pro Ball Chasers, they don't need to stretch themselves anymore, do they? They've got a 3-0 lead to hold on, and they've only got a minute to do it.
I think their playstyle will work pretty well with the Whites currently attacking them. They've been always sort of trying to strive on the counterattacks, trying to catch their opposition off guard. And right now, it's working out pretty well. Shark in the water, why not Party? Missing out through the full 10 minutes of the first 2 games. Here, find themselves opportunities in the professional ball chasers. What a turnaround. You mentioned Phoenix rising from the ashes. Seemingly, the whole team has stepped up to the plate. And this is making the rest of this series ever so interesting. It's still a need to sweep the rest of the games. Professional ball chaser need to win 2 in a row still, but the game number 3 is in their pocket. Nothing will change this. No possible way will they lose 4 goals even. And as Spring goes for another one, he could have used that one to take for the next game. Instead, White can't even finish. It's a hard shot. Don't get me wrong, but that could have been useful for the game number 4. Instead, congratulations to professional ball chasers. To turn that around is something crazy, but the task in front of them currently is even harder.
It's not just that they've turned it around. They've turned it around with a 5-0 rebuttal. The professional ball chasers are back. They're back. There is no other way to describe it. And why not Party? Well, they talk about being fashionably late. Well, I'm also going to add this cliche in there. Better late than never. A point has been snatched back by professional ball chasers. All 3 team members stepping up to the plate to put on a big performance. All 3 players outscoring in terms of points and contribution every single White player. We head into game number 4 with just as much intrigue as we had going into game number.
Madness, absolute madness. The previous series already set up a pretty high plank. This one might also turn out to be a mad one. To go from 0-5 to 5-0 really requires some immense mental fortitude. And professional ball chasers, that goal that Phoenix has scored at the very start of it, definitely set them in a right mood. One small mistake by White, and really great observing on the play.
KK, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, KK went for it and got the whole thing started. Really helped him out. That aggression might exactly be the key. They've picked up the speed in game number 3. If they continue on the same pace, they might yet to surprise White, and the battle of the 2 titans, the rivalry that we have been hyping up for the whole season, might get even spicier. So whatever happens in game number 4, bar the complete and utter demolition of Pro Ball Chasers again, I think we're in for a good one.
That sounds pretty appetizing to me, as a neutral, of course.
Well, no bias here, definitely.
No.
Don't mind me cheering for post-game strong in the previous game. That didn't happen. What almost did happen, KK going for the shot too hard from Phoenix. And Professional Ball Chasers lose their first chance of the game, still in the attack. But you can give Viite one thing, definitely. Their clears are aimed at one thing, put the ball as far away as possible. They know how to do that.
KK still picking up possession, gets it over Spring. Well, actually, no, Spring gets a little bit of a touch on that, which allows Chuvas to pass over to his teammate. Although, big block by Why Not Party allows Phoenix the clearance, and Minfipai was there to deny the counter goal. KK off the wall. Spring. Why Not Party now coming in, brings that one down, was looking for Phoenix, but Minfipai got there first. Chuvas over to the far corner. Why Not Party's there. Looking to get it past Spring, does so, but Minfipai proved a much more stubborn roadblock. As I think the two of them, Chuvas and Minfipai, got caught up in each other's way. And the ball offered a brief reprieve out of the possession of any sort of player. And that was almost a goal from Spring. That was almost a goal from Minfipai. Both sides can consider themselves lucky not to be conceding one goal at the very least.
Oh my god, that was a great exchange. And Why Not Party was beat. But Minfipai couldn't connect at the end of it. So many goals he has scored in this position already. It's not a surprise to see Wyatt's member just going for the cross-field pass. Not on that attempt. They're getting closer, and they better be careful. Chivas, the top goal scorer for WIT at the start of this week, find themselves a great block up front. You need to beware whenever you're making clear. He was right in front of Why Not Party, but Chivas still finds his way into the net.
And so blood has been drawn in game number 4. And is that the brutal dagger wound that might yet be the end of Professional Ball Chasers? KK will surely clear this one to the side. He does so. And Spring whiffs the touch. But Chuvas cleans up and allows this offensive from WIT to continue. Minfipai on the far side. Why Not Party choosing not to go for the long clear, choosing to take up possession. Not sure if that's going to pay off for him. KK goes infield, on target, save from Minfipai as we head towards half-time. Professional Ball Chasers not out of this yet, but WIT in control.
Yeah, it's not looking as Professional Ball Chasers are getting that many clear-cut opportunities up front. Many of the shots that they're taking, once again, are blocked by pristine WIT defense. Their rotations to keep the ball as far away from the net as possible is still working out. There's always a player going for that clear, and your weak and poor touches will not make it through. And it only makes the situation worse as strong shots for WIT will just bring the ball faster and quicker to your own net. Passing the play, Why Not Party tries the mind game, it seems. But as the ball falls down, the shot made into a dribble doesn't exactly work out. Open net, though. Oh, how on earth is that still staying in?
And I tell you, you've got to say, Why Not Party as well here did exceptionally well, just to be patient, because he had to read Minfipai's clearance here as well. It could have been a little chip, it could have been a hard clear. Minfipai went for the hard clear, and we're back to a tie game, one apiece. And it is the two primary threats in front of goal who have come through for both teams, Chuvas and Why Not Party. Phoenix over to the sidewall, KK throws this one towards the far goal. Minfipai almost scored an own goal and forces Chuvas into the corner. Why Not Party to the middle. KK's there. Goes up high. Looking to get the second touch. Does get the second touch. Phoenix was denied by Minfipai at the last minute and 20 seconds remaining.
And Professional Ball Chasers might yet to use this opportunity. Time has passed. And I spoke to, so just for a moment, WIT in that situation, it was strange. You didn't see anyone in the air coming in for a ball because the WIT were low on boost. But it only takes one great counterattack, one great passing play, one fast passing play to that as well, to bring WIT back into the attack. Time is precious for Professional Ball Chasers, but it's doable. They have been in control of this game. They have been out shooting their opposition. And WIT definitely can fall. They already fell once. How about another 1 or 2 times?
And you'd have to say, certainly, there's no point really in worrying too much about getting 2 goals if you're professional ball chasers. Just get it to overtime. You have chances in overtime, certainly. And certainly when the defense completely whiffs like that. Not punished. KK up high. Why Not Party looks to get the touchdown. KK met by Chuvas. The ball goes over to the corner. Just over 30 seconds remain with KK now. The ball going up to the top of the cage. Phoenix down to the corner. Spring with the save. Minfipai lies in wait on the wing. Gets it past Why Not Party. Why Not Party now into the corner. Blocks the counter-attack, and Chuvas now looking to follow up the play. Phoenix gets it over to the other side. Why Not Party misses his touch, and Spring goes towards the net, ever so close to goal number 3. 15 seconds left on the clock now as the league play for BESL Season 3 draws to a close. Spring looking just to keep possession for now. Why Not Party over to the side. Last chance saloon if they want to win the league. KK has got some decent boost to work with. Far corner. Nobody was there. And nobody was there to follow up either. Weite win the league with a 3-1 series over Professional Ball Chasers. So close at the end there. But ultimately it was Pro Ball Chasers' slow start out of the gates that was their ultimate down doing.
My God, Weite at the end of this match looked so vulnerable. Out of boost, stuck in their defense. All the Professional Ball Chasers needed was a good passing play. But a couple of chances were wasted just hitting the ball straight down to their opposition. And they couldn't get their shooting percentage down into the net. Those were shots. Those were not goals. And Weite, just by the slimmest of the margins, I would expect this series to have one of our first overtimes of the day as well. Yeah. It didn't happen, but the intrigue was still there. But also some pretty big question marks for the side of Professional Ball Chasers coming into this one at the end of the season. My God, it still lived up to the expectations.
Oh yeah,
is in a slightly different way than I expected, though. It has been could have been a Game 5 affair, but we already had one, so maybe we sort of used one of those. Holy moly. Professional Ball Chasers will have a lot to fix before LAN. They have 2 weeks to do so, because Weite, throughout the season, despite dropping that one game, that was 1 week when they felt a little bit off, just like Professional Ball Chasers were feeling a little bit off last week and this week. Other than that, Weite were perfect. Their play style nobody is out of place on that team, and some of their inventive plays are helping them out to just completely not leave a stone standing on their opponents. For Professional Ball Chasers, despite their technique, despite their skill, they're still vulnerable to the strongest teams, and in this series more than ever, it shows exactly where the problem for the Ball Chasers were. They're not the ever able team. No, they actually have some weak spots and definitely have some nerves and when coming up against a bigger team.
Right. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Somic V2. Just a reminder, I'm sure the host will do it anyway, but create your memes, because it could give you a chance to go to LAN. And Somic has memed me, and it's incredible. I'm going to show you afterwards. Right now, we're going to show you the standings, though. Remember, in terms of LAN, in terms of potential playoffs, everything is sorted. Those top 4 teams, they were already locked in going into week number 7. What we didn't know is what order the top 2 are going to come out in, and it is Weite with the 7-0 sweep. They have beaten every team in the league, but not perfectly. They've dropped 2 games, one of which, of course, came against Professional Ball Chasers. Both of those guys, the favourites going into LAN, most certainly. What will the live environment do to their nerves, though? I'm fascinated to find out. Hopefully we'll see all of you guys there. Alongside, of course, the Backflip Boys and Spectre. Remember when the Backflip Boys started so strong but fell away? Remember when Spectre started so poorly but gained momentum as the weeks went on? We could yet see more twists and turns as LAN approaches at HyperTown in Riga in 2 weeks' time. Big shout out to the 4 teams that didn't qualify, by the way. Scavenge, they were already locked into that P5, but post-game strong. It's those guys who I look to as team of the week. It's Dipsy who I look to as man or a player of the week for me. I know Arceus was pretty close there, but it was Dipsy's performance in game number 3 that turned the tides for post-game strong. They don't finish last. They finish 6th ahead of Ram Ranch and Mind Games eSports. The match that started this entire thing off, Jam. And we were watching the guys who would ultimately finish plumb last and second from plumb last.
Well, it seems like this season has held many of the secrets, many of the twists and turns and surprises. If I had to pick a most valuable player for this week, I would like to pick the whole of the post-game strong squad, because it couldn't be possible if their whole team all of a sudden didn't flip a switch. The switch that goes from, let's say, champion to grand champion. All of them were suddenly on the right page. But if I had to pick one player, Spring today was on fire. And obviously his team is tremendous, Chuvas and Fipai, but Spring, you need to be aware of every single player in that WEI team. Nobody is stronger or weaker. All together are carrying the team up front, and they're looking so great as a well-oiled machine on the field when they're executing their plays. So I think for a team that has finished in the first place with no series lost, I think for me, it's only be fair to pick a player from that squad. And so my pick for this week would be indeed Spring.
It is all to play for in 2 weeks' time, live in Riga. Get your tickets to HyperTown or create a meme and try to get a free ticket to HyperTown. We hope to see all of you. I imagine we might do a casters meetup, Jam, potentially. We'll wait and see.
Yeah. I'm not averse to that.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
I guess the best thing to do, would be to follow our personal Twitter accounts. So it's at IRLeak and at JarXJam. We'll try and get something sorted. We'd love to meet all of you guys. And whether you're going to be sitting in the stands, whether you're going to be standing in the stands, whether you're just there for the hell of it, we would love to see you. And we can't wait to see all the teams as well. It's going to be a great occasion. But for now, we've got to say goodbye. I've been IRLeak, he's been Jar of Jam. This has been the BESL Season 3 Rocket League. And we'll take care. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.